Hello. Good morning. Hope everybody's ready for it. It's a Friday today. Very excited about what happened in markets yesterday, and I'm thinking they're looking pretty promising today. Well, maybe not markets. Maybe crypto related investments actually, but we'll get to that in a second. Hit the like if you guys could. Share this out too. Pass it on as much as possible. That would be wonderful. Economic data today is going to be non-existent. We've got a Fed Harker speech at 1 p.m. We've got Baker Hughes oil rig counts at 12 p.m. Um, so we don't really have a lot of anything. And if you look at some of these historically, you can see how some of the oil rig we're starting to see an uptick in some of these. We haven't done actually. There's been a decline since like late 2022 on oil rigs that we're seeing here overall for Baker Hughes. But again, oil at least land-based oil production has been strong. But this isn't much of a report. I'd say the biggest thing to note today would be if we compare Bitcoin and its price against altcoins. It's very exciting. So if you look here, first off, you can see that the chart for Bitcoin is looking amazing on the monthly time frame. The month isn't over yet, though. We've got another week and a half until the month is done. So we'll look at the weekly instead, which is done here this weekend on Sunday. And so far, it looks like it's readying for a breakout. But we have retraced a little bit. We got to 64K last night. We're kind of idling here. I would argue that I think we're going to have a three white soldiers move. We're going to have another one right over here, and it's going to be an incredibly bullish sign indicating the breakout. But the fun part is while Bitcoin's taking a breather, something unique is happening that usually only happens when markets are going up. And that is what's happening for the last week with the top 100 altcoins. If you guys look here, this is not bearish in any way. Just even look at today. Look at today. Solana up 7.4%, Optimism up 6.4, SUI up 14.3, LDO 8.1, App 12.7, Tao 10.8. These things are popping, guys. A lot of these are popping, and it's really great to see like premium altcoins like Solana making breaks higher while Bitcoin is taking a breather. It is the stuff that bull markets are made of. It gets me very, very excited. Let me get caught up on chat real quick. We're going to look at Solana here in a second, too. Disease Codex says, yo. Oak says, yo. Dustin, P11, morning. Good morning. Rob Group, Jesse, you think Hood going down yesterday had to do with them dropping their interest rate? No, not at all. I think it was just a lack of excitement in regard to their announcement about the sports team thing. That's all. I think it was just to sell the news event. I don't think it matters. Lowe's 94, yo Jesse and everyone. Alex Garcia, morning. Johnny Utah, yo. Lots of yos, lots of hellos from Dylan, Team Miri, Ashley, Alex, Ethan. Awesome. Junkrat from X says, good morning, dude. Disease Codex says, Jesse, I have a super mathematical question. Are you up for it? Probably not. I haven't even had my coffee, bro. What are you talking about? But you could ask it. DeFi activated. Hey, Jesse, BD. All right, so everybody's saying good morning still. Concord saying good morning on X. Dylan says, did you see the news of someone buying 25,000 CleanSpark $20 contracts for October 18th? I did. I think that is good news. Chicken Bro made a good decision months ago selling ETH for Sol. Yeah, that's probably a good decision. ETH will bounce, though. Everything's going up. But I think Sol's the better investment. It's got the smaller market cap. It's like 1/5 of the size and market cap, and arguably better in just so many different ways. All right, so chat looks pretty chill. Everybody's just saying good morning. I appreciate that. Let's hop over real quick, and we'll go to Solana because I want to look again at just what does this chart look like. And maybe I need to go back. Do I have it? There we go. All right. And again, I got to work on that Discord this weekend. That's my big goal, guys. That's my big goal. Get the Discord done. Let me see here. This is Solana. So the pattern looks good. This is, again, we've had plenty of time. Look at how much opportunity we had for Solana to break under the dot fib, and it just couldn't do it for more than a second. And now it's launching. Once this thing gets going, man, it's going to make short work of the previous high, which is 71% higher than where we are right now. So expect that to happen fast. Again, if you look, this says 5.4 because the cutoff here is different than the cutoff probably for crypto bubbles. It's just the way that different markets look at it. But what a good day for Solana, guys. This is going to be just a little bit further here. Another, maybe even by the weekend, we're pressing up against 192 or something. That would be amazing to see. Just amazing. Nick's AI says from X says, good morning. What a great day yesterday. Just need Clean Spark to go. They'll come. They come later, guys. It's just the way it works. You get used to it after a while. You start to just realize the pattern and then just roll with it, and it doesn't even phase you. So again, I do think could traditional markets take a breather today? I don't think it would be crazy for them to. Yesterday was beautiful. We went from neutral to fear, or I'm sorry, greed, really, really quickly, like mid-level greed at 66, just because of the massive impulse that we saw yesterday in the stock market. I'm okay if this trends sideways to down and just kind of hangs out and we get closer to neutral before we make legs higher. Really good bull markets, guys, and stocks and crypto are usually slow, incremental. At the beginning, again, you get the hype, you get the excitement. Maybe you run for a couple of days. That's great. I love that kind of stuff. But it can't just keep doing that forever. It's got to slow down. And so I think because you want that steady growth, you want 1 day down, or maybe 2 days down, 1 day up that makes up for all of it and then some. And then, a little trend in sideways and then a little more up and then a trend sideways, maybe down, and then quite a bit up. You want this step ladder approach for really healthy market action. And so I think that's what we're going to have. And I think what we're seeing, like I've said before, the fear and greed on the crypto sector has been lagging. So I think if there's a day for anything to go up today, I would say it's the crypto sector. And that's what we're seeing. And so that's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful to see some of these up double digits today, just today. And then when you look at the week, I mean, whoa, this is not bad. There you could definitely see risk on starting to come back to the markets. I love that. So we might see a little bit of rotation. Maybe we see people getting more excited about small caps because of the lower interest rates. So I think that's kind of what we're going to see today. Let's look, though. Let's go to the heat map for stocks. And can't look at the performance. So this is yesterday's performance. Again, beautiful. Tesla went up 7. With Tesla going up 7.36 yesterday, if it takes a break today, guys, it's okay. You're going to live. You're going to live. Pre-market change, this is what we want to look at. See, this is where things are sitting. So again, everything's just kind of hanging out. Could we go down? Could we go up? Could we just stay sideways? I'd be okay with sideways, guys. There is some news. Palantir. Let me actually just maybe pull this up. Palantir, we had a big sell from Alex Karp. He saw, like you guys saw just last week, this week, he was in chat. Alex Karp was in chat, and he was trying to look at the technicals and see where we're sitting. And he watched me, and he saw like, whoa, we're probably capped out for a while. That's what Jesse said. So I better sell a shit ton of stock. And he did that. Whoa, hey, 20 memberships, Manny247, dude. You are too good to me, bro. Thank you so much. Jeez, you guys, dude. You guys are going to get me all misty-eyed. Thank you, man. So, yeah, he sold 325.6 million shares worth of Palantir after hanging out this week and realizing that it was a good idea to take a little bit of cash from my analysis, which I'm incredibly grateful for. But it is a sign, though, right? It's a sign that, like I said, when something goes up over 500% in a year and a half, you take some profits, and that's what Alex did. And maybe some other Palantir people might be going, hey, if the CEO is taking such large amount of profits, maybe I should too. Again, I love this company. But Manny247 is the nickname of Alex Karp in the chat. There you go. But yeah, so again, this thing, I think we can even go up to the all-time high of 46, 45, right around there. But it's going to be some sideways chop, and it's probably going to be that way for a while. And I actually should push this out because this isn't quite representative of what I think. It's more like something like this. That's kind of what's representative of what I think of Palantir. But yeah, so interesting moves on that. Let's just go back to the heat map index again. Is there anything else notable in here? Not really. And if you guys have news events too, please throw them out. Dylan says, just in case you forgot, here's a reminder to make a BTC storage video. I will do that. It'll be like in the next 3 to 6 months. It's not incredibly crucial right now. The world isn't falling apart, but I will do it in a timely fashion. I do promise. So yeah, that's the heat map for that. Again, I kind of showed you the crypto one, but I did it with the bubbles. The bubbles look good. The bubbles do not look bad. Even if we just look at the daily, what's the hourly look like? The hourly is positive. So we're seeing nothing but love right now in the crypto space. Let's keep moving on. Let's look at the SPX today, the SPY. See how we're sitting. I don't know if I can do this one for pre-market. Can I do this one for pre-market? No, probably not. I don't even know what I just clicked on there. What did I do? What did I do? Will this one show me pre? I don't think so. It just says market close. Meh. Why can't I see pre? What am I missing? Am I tripping today? Am I tripping? Yeah, okay, so we can't see anything here yet. Whatever, these were great days yesterday. Let's go to the dollar. I need to really drink more coffee before I start these streams. The dollar, pretty flat. Again, looking like it's going to roll over to me, which I think could happen in short order. Gold, probably boring as hell. Is it up 1%? Gold up 36% in 13 years. Now it's getting exciting. You almost beat the price of inflation. That's amazing. All right, oil down 0.5%. Again, I do think that there could be some strength in this ahead, but I would actually love to see it roll over. I would love that. Polling data, guys, for Trump has gotten incredibly good from a lot of pollsters, at least like the ones that are more trustable and not trying to influence an election like mainstream media does. So I don't know. I think that's going to be interesting too, and just how that works with markets and what they look like. Let's see what else we got here. DeFi activated. What's your cost basis on ARKG calls? I don't know. Let's look. 1 second here. And then we'll jump through the rest of the macro-related stuff and into other stock-related news. If you guys have any big news events that have happened today too, throw them out, guys. It's always good to know what's going on. I'm just getting it up right now. And while we're doing that, I'm going to pull up the move index, which I put on the wrong screen. So I'll just drag it over here. All right, move index down sharply. And actually, my buddy Michael Howell was talking about how term premia is playing out and how he believes that we'll see maybe bond volatility dropping and we'll see yields on bonds going up and maybe, what am I trying to say? I'll show you. Let me show you. I'll just show you. Give me a sec here. All right, so let me pull this up. I'm just going to drag this over so we can look at ARKG and see what my cost basis is. All right, ARKG. What is my cost basis? So the 2025s, I mean, those are dust. But when we're looking at the 2026s, which I still think is a really good contract for $50, right now the price is 26, so I'm not even expecting it to double in almost a year and a half. Or I should say about 15 months. Expecting it to double within 15, 16 months. And right now, it's 1.13 for the average price, and they're at 1.15. So I have made virtually nothing off of these. I lost all of the 2025 initial interest. I do have more of these on another portfolio, but that's where I'm sitting right now with those. And I'm pretty excited about it. Now, let's actually go back. Let me talk about term premia for bonds so I don't bastardize this since my brain is barely functioning today. Definitely gotta down the coffee. All right. So so yesterday Michael Howell from Cross Border Capital said yesterday breakout higher in daily U.S. term premia, not a great omen for bonds, especially with a strong gold market. So what he's saying is people aren't looking for bonds as like their hedging opportunity right now. Instead, they're looking for gold, things like Bitcoin, and so you can expect bonds to roll over. And again, when we're looking at the bond volatility index, you can see that that's what's happening. And the 2-year, the shorter dated stuff, still popular, up 0.5%, but again, it got washed out a little bit yesterday. So that one's doing okay. Let's check the inversion. The inversion's down a little bit. So again, that kind of like chop that I'm talking about, where we could just kind of grind along the line, doesn't even have to be that high. It's probably more like this. We could just do this for a while Not that long, though. I should probably get this more representative of some kind of version of reality. Let me see here. Sometimes you just draw the things and you don't look at the dates. You know what I mean? So, and this is still going to be a little off, but it's closer. I think something like this for the yield curve inversion. So, again, just kind of grind and markets staying pretty sane. If you guys could hit the like, it's greatly appreciated for the 231 people that are here. That would be great. Thank you very much. Let's just keep rolling along. So we do have some comments in chat. Let's see what they say. Yeah, okay. So Junkrat says on X says MicroStrategy secures 1.01 billion issued convertible notes to fund Bitcoin purchases. Are they up to 1.01 billion on their 700 million? Oversubscribed again. Awesome. That's good stuff. Polos Bro, news. What do you think about Nike CEO swap? Yeah, so I think it was ZA, a newer member here, a whale, that was bringing that up just yesterday. I don't know, man. I just worry about retail, and I worry about all the competition that Nike has. Their stock has been beat up for a while. I think it's probably for good reason. There's just so many competitors, desperate competitors in China that will lowball them on price and still keep the market competitive. And they're good shoes. So I love Nike. It's like my favorite pair of shoes. But what will the retail space look like? I just don't know. I don't know enough fundamentally about it to feel good. But from a technical level, if you do look at the chart, I'll pull it up just for 2 seconds. I don't want to go too deep into stocks right now. Kind of want to save that to the end for other stock requests. But from a technical level, it's a positive. Again, the Nike CEO is a positive. We're up 8% in pre-market, just again off that news. They've had a major crush. It really hurt badly. If you look here at the stock price, they went from 180. They dropped 60%. So that's pretty painful stuff for a stock. So could there be a bounce here? Yeah. Am I super excited about an investment like this with everything else going on? I'm not really. But I wish the new CEO luck. It's going to take him a few quarters to figure shit out. Lowe's 94, Franklin Templeton plans to launch a mutual fund on Solana blockchain. Really? Ooh, let's take a look at that. And then we'll get back to some of this other stuff. Franklin Templeton. Make sure I spelled it right. Thanks, I did. That's cool. That's big news. Thank you for sharing, man. I'm just going to repost that real quick. I'll probably leave that under. I should have a Solana section. Whatever, I'll check it up later. Very, very good news. So it says source, Solana breakout point. $1.3 trillion asset manager plans to launch a mutual fund on Solana blockchain. That is cool. That's cool. Again, the tokenization of assets is going to be a very real thing. So grab your coffee, Jesse. We'll wait. Thanks, man. I got my super gut. That's my other thing. That's the other thing I do. Ooh, wait a sec. I got to see this. There's something happening right now that I want to check into, guys. 1 second here. I need to know what this means. 1 second. We're going to go back a little bit. Okay. All right, we're going to listen to this real quick, guys.
Should you lead?
Port of New York and New Jersey executives tell CNBC that they are making preparations for a potential dock worker strike at the end of this month. 5 of the 10 busiest.
That could be shit. All right, so at the end of the month now, we're talking about port workers at one of the busiest ports in the world, in America, going on strike around the same time that we could have the government shutting down. That could get interesting, guys. That could get interesting. Susan Yu, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate your patronage here. Also, that gives you the ability to chat. And then when we do these morning streams and the market recap, it gives you the ability to be able to ask about stocks. We usually do that at the end. And you upgraded already. That didn't take... She's already an alpha female. You rock. Thanks. But yeah, let's keep listening here. This sounds interesting. We do need to keep track of this.
Ports in North America could shut down if workers can't get a new union contract. Some businesses are trying to get ahead and bring in more imports now ahead of that deadline. Joining us right now to talk about the impact of all of this on companies, consumers, and potentially on inflation is Carlos Gutierrez. He is former U.S. Secretary of Commerce, also a CNBC contributor. And Carlos, I think in some ways we're thinking we have beaten this inflation situation, but if you look at the potential for a strike here, this is hugely concerning, not only what it means for inflation, what it means for the ability to get goods in, what it means for a lot of things in our country. Why don't you lay out the situation? If this happens, if these ports go on strike, it's about half of the incoming ocean-going cargo that we bring into this country that would be shut down.
Yeah, that's right. Hi, Becky. It's about.
Did you hear that? Half of the inbound cargo. And I think shipping rates are still high. I got to see if I can find that figure.
Yeah, 50% of the imports that come through the East Coast. You know, this is, on one hand, it's shortages. Every day that there's a strike, you have a compounding effect, and it's not one day of a shortage. It kind of adds up to a week. So it's big in terms of the impact. And it's not only the shortages, but it's the cost. The cost of the freight increases because you have ships sitting at the dock. They're not being unloaded, and that just increases the cost of the goods coming in. So it's bad. I don't think this is something that will make the Fed raise rates again, but it's going to have an impact, and it will impact families. It'll impact, again, it'll just remind people of the period of shortages and the period of inflation. It will have an impact. There's no question. I think the thing here is to look at the union and the companies. And I've never been a union buster. I haven't dedicated my career to that. But there's a sense here, at least I feel like the longshoremen are overplaying their hand. 77% increase, which, by the way, is what they received in 2018. So they're going for the same amount. But the big issue long term is this notion that no new technology, if it takes out one job, it's hard to stand against progress, to stand against science, to stand against innovation. That's not a winning proposition.
100% agree with this guy. 100%.
So the union here can have a kind of a tactical victory, but long term, it's a strategic defeat. And this is why.
This totally reminds me of legacy auto and so many other sectors of business in the United States trying to hold on to the past with unions that Biden and Harris would love to have more of. We don't want to innovate. We want to go backwards. That's the motto, and it's a pretty poor one.
Companies are constantly looking for areas where they can build plants without unions. So and also it's hit them when they're down. Inflation's coming down. Nobody wants it to go back up. Now is the time to hit them. So I find that they're totally overplaying their hand. I don't see the option. If this is where they remain, no new technology, 77%, I don't see what you can do other than take a strike.
The idea that there are so many companies that are trying to bring in excess inventory now to make sure that they don't get caught with shortages, could that potentially be covering up economic weakness we wouldn't see otherwise, or is it too small of a number?
Well, it does, impact a lot of companies. When you have stocking of retailers, you're just going to sell less the following month and the following quarter. So, you're bringing sales forward. And this would show up in the numbers slightly. It won't be big enough, but yeah, inventory increases cover up potential softness in the economy, because increasing inventories doesn't mean that you're getting more demand. So there are ripple effects everywhere.
Yeah, we don't want ports shutting down. This is stupid.
Nobody likes loaded warehouses. That's terrible for the future. So this isn't good for anyone. And again, it just comes down to, at what point do unions or the longshoremen realize that a compromise here is good for them long term? And, they're just totally overplaying their hand.
If they're overplaying their hand and they go to a strike and it shuts the economy down, maybe they're not overplaying their hand. They have a pretty strong hand.
She's a fucking idiot.
Well, okay. The overplaying their hand long term.
Yeah, yeah. The whole point is they might be playing their hand right now, but they're fucking themselves in the long term.
Today we don't have one single port in the top 15. So we're already known as having, not the best ports, inefficient. I think our top port is number 17 in Long Beach. And even Long Beach is known as being inefficient. CapEx projects take 5 years, and a lot of it is because of labor. So eventually, this will come back to bite them.
Agreed.
This is the type of thing that continues to give labor a bad name. Labor has a role to play, and I'm not saying let's get rid of unions, but the idea of hitting when a company or an economy is down is going to backfire. So yeah, they've got a good hand. They'll have a nice tactical victory if they win here, but
Yeah, I 100% agree. That's what's going to happen. It's going to backfire over the long haul, and so that's interesting. That's going to be something we have to keep an eye on. We also have to look at the Japanese rate and whether or not they're going to be doing anything with that today. I did want to thank you guys on X, and it looks like I'm probably going to be crossing 16,000 on YouTube here too. Just appreciate the patronage, and again, people just helping out and supporting the channel. It's awesome. I do want to look at this real quick. So this is the article that you were talking about, Frank. It says, impending port strike, carriers announce disruption surcharges. Quotes by Lars Jensen. For vessels that arrive at the U.S. East Coast in the first week of October and get stuck there, it will be 5 to 7 weeks before their absence is missed in Asia. And if we get a lengthy strike, it will have a major impact in Asia as we will begin the pre-Chinese New Year rush. Carriers learned how to price in a market where there's limited capacity. They learned you don't have to price on a cost plus basis. When there's a capacity shortage, you can raise rates higher and faster than before. They learned this during the pandemic and applied it during the Red Sea crisis. Rest assured, if we get a strike on the East Coast, they will apply it again. So I think what he's saying is you'll see immediately the cost of these going up higher. Susan, you are amazing. You are amazing. Thank you very much. Not only becoming a member and then upgrading to alpha and male and female, but then giving another $20 on top of that. Thank you a lot. But yeah, so I do think that we'll see rates go up very quickly, and it will be impactful again on the stuff being shipped. So, he did say in here though, it said it will be there 5 to 7 weeks before their absence is missed in Asia. So that gives a month to a month and a half roughly before it becomes a big deal with the new year. And the new year is a heavy shipping time. So we don't want to see that. We don't want to see these things happen. And hopefully they won't. Sorry, I jumped over to that. I do try and watch. I pay for CNBC separately so that I can get if you watch it from YouTube, or I should say YouTube TV, it gets weird and you'll get copyrighted like crazy. But if you pay for the app and then they take out the commercials, you don't have to worry about it. So I do try and watch this stuff all the time on the sidelines to make sure that I'm understanding what might be going on just with major news events. So I've got that like running on the bottom left of my screen too, just to try and keep up. Let's keep rocking and rolling though. I do want to see how is the yen, and let's go through currencies real quick. We'll look at stocks. We're getting it's almost 8 o'clock. Again, no major economic data today. We might even look at some other things. I'll probably roll through some news-related events before we get to market open. And if we still got some time, we can look at some stocks too that you guys have requests on before the market turns around. I do think today can be an up day, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. The Japanese to yen, it looks like the dollar, or I should say this, the dollar is strengthening against the yen. You don't want to see too much of this, but we've got plenty of leeway. There's a lot of room between the 143 mark and the 162 mark, roughly, that we hit last time. So nothing too scary. Thoughts on quad witching today? It'll create volatility. So it'll create volatility. I haven't looked enough about which directions initially, but I usually don't even care, honestly. Like, I don't care about option expiration. It'll move markets, but we are getting. We should look at when the market opens here at 8:30. We'll look at the different indices and look at how overbought they are, and talk through some of that. The dollar versus the won, we're seeing weakness against the dollar again. This is good. We want a little less pressure on China. Laura, thank you for becoming a member. You guys are so great to me today. So yeah, we do want to see less pressure. That's all good. Let's check out the ruble for shits and giggles. The dollar is strengthening against the ruble, but slightly. Put call ratio. Are people jumping to insurance? They are. Some people, we did get some of that. I think this is completely normal. I do still think this, though. I'll draw what I think is going to happen with the trend, guys. It's going to be something like this. This is what I see. And I have it green in this case because that is a positive for markets. So I do think that we'll have this kind of move where we just keep trending sideways for a while. And kind of do something like what we did over here in after 2020, after the pandemic, fired off and everybody got really afraid and we just went crazy and everybody started hedging. Then what did the market do? The market went straight up as we trended down. And I think that same kind of thing is going to be happening here. I really do. All right, let's keep going. Let's just check Bitcoin, see how we're doing. Just check in real quick. Looks like Kramer's talking. Nobody cares. 63.4. We're seeing a little bit of climbing in Bitcoin. And let's just check the shit coins over the last hour. They're getting a little more red, so that's going to happen. We're going to jockey back and forth between shit coins going up and Bitcoin going up. Very, very normal part of the process. Let's look in pre-market and see how MicroStrategy and some of the miners are doing, see if they're getting any love. MicroStrategy's up another 1.62. Again, it's going to be a leader. It's going to be the one that goes first. And I think the fact that they were oversubscribed in that $700 million convertible debt offering with over $1 billion is a very big positive for them right now and will help this thing probably continue to lead for a while. Let's look at Mara. Mara is going to be the big miner, right, out of the miners. It's up 1% on the day, which is a good sign. Again, this thing has a long ways to go. I just need to move some stuff over and clean this up a little bit. So we still have, just to get back, or I should say the next measured move, to get back to the recent all-time high on this one, it is a 115% move. But if Bitcoin goes to 92K, you're going to see a almost 200% up move, I believe, in Mara's price action. So get ready for that. I think that's happening before the end of the year, guys. Same thing with CleanSpark, though. Let's save this one real quick and look at CleanSpark. Can you look at GCT? Yeah, I will do that. Just give me a sec here. We're going to go through some news-related events, too, just because I want to make sure that we're clear on all that. So, again, CleanSpark, 265% move to get back to where it was, or to get to basically if we see 92K on Bitcoin in the next couple of months, like I think we're going to, or at least before the end of the year, you're gonna hate yourself if you miss that kind of move. You will, trust me. I should have saved the chart too. I'm trying to get better at that. I don't want to keep updating charts all the time after I update them and update them and update them. So again, Cypher has 171% just to get back to where it was. Not too long ago. But this one, I think the measured move could be 290% if we get that strong move in Bitcoin's price. Also, what's your cost basis for CleanSpark calls? Let's take a look at that too. I can do that. Jason G. Let's scroll down here. CleanSpark. So CleanSpark, I am still in the red. I'm down 23%. So these things are cheap, I think. They're very cheap. I think there's a roughly 2x multiplier, and you'll have theta decay in there too. But if we do the 250% plus move that I think that we're doing in CleanSpark, right over here, if we do that move, and you can get almost 2x off of that, you could get a 450% move pretty easily in the next couple of months off these options. So I'm actually in the red on these, but I don't care at all. So the price is 128. My average is 166. I might buy more. I don't know. We'll see. I've got probably 180,000 in these things just in calls between multiple accounts. So I feel like that's pretty good. But we'll see what happens with it. But I might buy more. We'll see. If for some reason CleanSpark continues to go down and those get cheaper, I probably will stack more. Because I love the multiplier. And it's a great company. Let's look at Bitfarms real quick, and then again we'll jump over and just see how some other stocks that I commonly follow are doing. It looks like CNBC's talking about Nike right now and the new CEO. They're probably not adding anything interesting than what I've said. All right, I'm just going to update this. So, again, looking over here at BITF, this thing is a baller too. This thing is less than $1 billion. To get back to its previous high, it's an easy 90% move. The measured move, though, where it can go if Bitcoin gets to, if Bitcoin gets to its 92,000 mark, I think is a 270% increase. So even better than Mara, even better than CleanSpark. So you can make a lot of money off of this one. And so far, I mean, I have my peak up here at a very high number. I don't know if it would hit that. Maybe, again, maybe it does something like in here, 24, 25. It just all depends. But these things will go. I think one of the things that people commonly misunderstand is they're like, oh, don't you think that's too high though? I think it's going to be overvalued. Like that's too much. And it's like, yeah, things become overvalued when irrational exuberance kicks in at the top of a bull cycle. With Bitcoin, that's exactly what fucking happens. So you're right. It is probably too high, higher than it should be valued at. Does that matter? No, because that's what it will do. Things would go from really undervalued, just like it was too cheap at 39 cents in December of 2022. That was too cheap, okay? It will be too expensive if it gets up into the 30s and 40s. That is a true statement. It doesn't mean it won't happen, though. I think that's the thing that people get confused on a lot. Let's roll through other stuff. I do want to talk about Tesla. On the Bitcoin note, though, let's see what else we got for Bitcoin news. We touched on a little bit of it here. I think Junkrat was talking about some news from BlackRock, too, or at least a statement that came out. I do want to talk to that. I want to talk to a few things here. So my buddy Willy Woo, he's a smart guy. He's I don't know why I'm not following him. I probably got pissed off at something he said, but I should be following him. Willy Woo was talking. He said, some say digital finance is the future. I say it's already here. BlackRock has 19,800 employees. They have 10.4 trillion in AUM, 10% of the world's GDP, 5.5 billion in profits. Tether, approximately 50 employees, had 119 billion in AUM, 0.1% of the world's GDP, and they made 6.2 billion in profits. This is a very, very strong comment here, guys. You have to understand this. Existing traditional banking will go away. Existing traditional firms. I was talking about this last night. I was having drinks with my friend Tony and some of his biking friends, and we were having a conversation, and there was a guy talking about how he just bought a house, and Tony asked how much his fee was, and he said it was 5%. Why? I'm sorry, if you're a realtor in chat, cover your ears. Why do realtors deserve 5% in some cases for showing a fucking house, trying to settle on a deal, and then filing some paperwork? And again, I understand there's title companies, all this other shit. All of this can be done digitally. You could do it for less than 1%. There's no reason. This is a program, guys. Realtors will get disrupted. It's an Airbnb app. If I can get Airbnb and not have to talk to a person, yes, and not have to talk to a person, not have to deal with realtor fees on either side of the trade. There's no point in this stuff. There's no point in paying these huge numbers when it's a fucking app. It's an app. We know this because we have Airbnb, and I literally go, oh, that looks nice. Click, 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 click. And then you go to the place and you punch in a thing and you're there and you're home. And it's not that much more complicated in the real estate industry. Banks are going to get disrupted. Realtors are going to get disrupted. There is massive disruption coming digitally, and BlackRock can get disrupted. You know why BlackRock won't be too disrupted? They'll probably eventually automate and lay off a bunch of employees and become more technologically savvy, but they're not going to get as disrupted because they're investing in Bitcoin. And on that note, Manny, what the fuck, guys? You guys are awesome. I don't even know. What do I have? 45 new memberships today because of Manny and then Laura and then Susan coming in. You guys are insane, dude. I really appreciate you guys a lot. Triple witching closes today. Market makers likely don't want to pay out puts, which is why we're pushing up. No, that's a good point. That's a good point, Mainstage. That's probably what's happening. Congrats to everybody that got a membership. You guys can talk and chat now and request stocks. You guys are awesome, man. I love this community so much. But segueing into my next point, BlackRock reveals it's quietly preparing for a $35 trillion Federal Reserve dollar crisis, with Bitcoin predicted to spark a sudden price boom. They're literally telling you we're worried about everything going on in the world right now, including the dollar, and we think Bitcoin's going to benefit a lot from this because of all the dollars needed across the world. This is a huge deal, guys. This is a lot of signal, but we're going to see massive market disruptions in the future. Massive market disruptions. You guys need to understand that. Also, my friend, stock trader Max, he said, for those who are panicking that Bitcoin isn't taking off and leaving CLSK behind, and insert any miner into this, right? He just shows that, he says, on October 16th of 2023 to November 17th of 2023, Bitcoin went up 42%. CleanSpark was down 3%. So again, in a month and a half, 6 weeks, Bitcoin just rocketed to the moon, went up almost 50%. And then people are like, oh, my CleanSpark, I'm just going to buy Bitcoin. My CleanSpark isn't going anywhere. CleanSpark dead. Miner's dead. I hear the same bullshit every cycle. It annoys the fuck out of me multiple times in the cycle. And then, but look what happened. November 17th of 2023 to December of 2023. So in 2 months, Bitcoin only went up 19% and CleanSpark went up 242. All right. Did you see that? 242% off of a 42% fucking move. I mean, Bitcoin might have went up a hair more in that time, but it doesn't matter. It's a beautiful multiplier. It's easily a 3 to 4x multiplier of the underlying asset. Sometimes it's 5 to 6. So don't worry. And then it says October 16th of 2023. So back when Bitcoin went up that 42% until March of 2024. Now he's not comparing Bitcoin there, well, from the original number, but he's showing it down here. Bitcoin went up 176%. CleanSpark went up 540. So again, it's that 3x multiplier, guys. It was the bare minimum in that circumstance. And if you look from certain areas, you probably see that it was a 4x multiplier or even a 5. Again, it got as high as almost 6x. 6x. So just chill. Chill the fuck out. Are you serious? Are you serious? Did you guys just donate another 20 memberships? Jarrett, thanks, man. Oh my God. You guys are crazy today. What is that, 65 now? What the hell? You guys are amazing. All right, speaking about disruption, I want to continue on that subject matter. Marty Party says there is no need for Visa and MasterCard anymore. These legacy payment giants take 5% of every transaction. Do you see a theme here? Do you see the 5% club? Credit cards, 3 to 5%, something like that. Real estate, up to 6%, somebody said in Austin in chat. Do you see this trend here where it's like they're charging these outrageous fees? Credit card companies. People are like, no, dude, people will lose access to credit cards if Trump doesn't let them have, the credit card companies have their 30% interest. Who gives a fuck? How does it help the poor to have 30% interest rates on their credit cards? How does that fucking help them? If they don't pay it off in full every month, and if you're poor, you're really unlikely to do that, you're getting fucked. You're being forced into permanent poverty. So who gives a fuck? Let that die. Take away credit cards from the poorest of people. Make them get secured credit cards, and you will enrich their fucking lives. This is okay. It's okay. It's okay for the rich not to just fee the shit out of everyone for transactions that really could be 0.1% fees, not up to 5. Let's fix this. Let's fix these legacy systems and enrich people, especially poor people that are getting fucked and left behind. Let's do it the right way, guys. So again, I think that the 10% cap on interest rates is a beautiful thing. That's enough for the Bitcoin segment. Let's move on. I do want to talk, there's a little more U.S. economy stuff, and then we'll jump into Tesla here in a second. And we've still got about 15 minutes until the opening bell. Again, thank you guys for just being like what I believe is the most awesome Fin community right now, and getting better by the day. I really just appreciate all you guys. Michael Howell did an interview here recently. I'm just going to show it. I'm probably going to watch this and talk to it. There's some interesting people in here. you got some bears, you got Michael Howell, and I'm really interested to see what this has to say, and I'll probably be doing a live stream today with it, and then just kind of giving my thoughts along the way, and then I might have to think about it even deeper. But I love listening to these perspectives. A few bears, and then Michael Howell chatting about global liquidity and what's happening next in markets. And oh my God, you guys, Shelly, thank you for the 10. She says, it's exciting to watch Bitcoin gain momentum as Trump embraces the Bitcoin community. Yeah, spending the first president ever, or former president ever, to buy burgers in Bitcoin. Very cool, man. Will this continue under Kamala presidency? Will Bitcoin do well under a Kamala presidency? Yes. Will the timing be a little different? Yes, probably just a hair. I think we could actually drop. If she becomes the president, we could drop. But I think if people realize that she's not going to have control of the Senate, and I don't actually even know if she's going to win. I mean, fairly, I don't think she's going to win. I'm going to do another video today on polling related stuff. Maybe I'll save it for tomorrow morning and just latest election news. I don't think she's winning. So again, I think we'll see where things land, but I do think that Bitcoin goes up no matter what. That crazy bitch is talking about spending a ton of money. The Inflation Reduction Act, so comically named, that was $1 trillion, right? Kamala wanted it to be $4 trillion. So if you don't think that woman wants to spend in whatever way she possibly can, she will. But again, if she doesn't have the Senate, does she get the opportunity? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. All right, let me get caught up with a few more chats here. Thank you guys, too. Tony DeGuyen, everyone popping the champagne by gifting memberships. It seems like it, doesn't it? Megdoll16, Jesse, your streams are top-notch. Keep up the good work. I'll try. Jarrett Bell, you're the man, Jesse. I'm still willing to help organize January or JesseCon 2025 in Nashville. That's awesome. Maybe, you know what? If we get enough people becoming millionaires and retiring, then we'll probably do something like that. But we'll celebrate when we get a bunch of people that are spending their time how they want. Luke Automata, you guys are awesome. Welcome to the best community. Thanks, dude. Silas, okay, let's use my CC miles first, though. Okay, Silas. Harry's saying, smash the like button, guys and gals. Yeah, if you guys could do that for the 300 here. Augustin Ortega, hey, Jesse, good morning from Argentina. Awesome, dude. How is Argentina doing, Augustin? Just objectively from anecdotal evidence, like your opinion. Luke Automata, Trump. Yes, I agree. It's got to be Trump, guys. I still waffle back and forth on whether I even like him, but the unity team is a must. We have to have Elon Musk reducing the cost of government and creating greater efficiencies. Alex Garcia, even if Trump wins, would they just let him win? I think that's going to be the interesting part. Joseph, Manny247, thanks for the memberships. I mean, I think they're trying not to let him win right now, just based upon all the assassination attempts. Shelly, Alex Garcia, exactly. They will cheat. They're going to try, but I don't know if they can. We just have to do everything we can. Ryan Detrick, here are the 20 times the Fed cut rates when the S&P 500 was within 2% of an all-time high based on the day before the cut. So it says higher a year later, 20 times, and up 13.9% on average. Yesterday was the 21st time. So again, market go up. That's what he's saying. Market go up. I was telling you that before. That's what's happening. 16 hours ago, cross-border, Michael Howell said, a not-so-new global liquidity cycle just started earlier in 2022. So this previous post said the prospect of new liquidity cycle amid an ongoing regime of fiscal expansion has not been lost on the price of gold. So he's saying gold is going up because of the fact that we're looking at a new liquidity cycle. And Michael Howell was just reiterating, yeah, guys, this actually started in 2022. This is a pretty normal process. It's a 4-year cycle, and it should end in 2026, which lines up perfectly with everything going on right now. That's pretty much it right now. Short-term U.S. Economy related stuff. I do want to jump over to Tesla, see how we're doing. Opening bell, 12 minutes off, almost 11. We're seeing Tesla down 0.62%. Okay. Let's jump over and look at Tesla-related news events. And if I miss anything, guys, please throw it out. I'm trying to figure out my timing in the morning. I'm going to have to get up earlier. There's just no way around it. This gets into a little bit in politics. It's only 1 minute and 30 seconds, but this talks to X and everything. When I talk about Tesla, I talk about Elon Musk, and this is very much Elon Musk, but it talks about what he did with X and Twitter files and how it's impacting our government. And it's amazing.
A couple points. One of the first points made in the amendment was we didn't subpoena X. Well, you know why we didn't subpoena X? Because they gave us the Twitter files, because they told us what was going on. And we did subpoena some of the others, of course. And guess what? They were censoring Americans. You don't have to take my word for it. Mark Zuckerberg wrote this committee a letter and told us he was censoring Americans. And guess what he said? He said,
Oh, my bad. Sorry, guys. Let me go back. Let me get back here.
and guess what? They were censoring Americans. You don't have to take my word for it. Mark Zuckerberg wrote this committee a letter and told us he was censoring Americans. And guess what he said? He said, I censored Americans because the Biden-Harris administration pressured me to censor Americans. He said he wished he hadn't done it. Going to try not to do it in the future. He said they actually worked on suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story that happened in October 4 years ago, before the most important election we had.
And you guys have to realize when we know that the government, that agencies of the government like the CIA and the FBI and others are politically motivated to censor conservative views, and that Mark Zuckerberg, of all people, admitted to it, and the Twitter files exposed it drastically to the world. This is problematic. I don't care what your political affiliation is. I voted for Joe Biden last time. I will be voting for Trump right now because I don't believe in government censorship and government control over what we can see and hear. And I don't know why any fucking Democrat would want that at all.
I'm actually very proud of the work this committee has done to protect the First Amendment. I'm proud of the fact we invited in, as I said earlier, all kinds of Democrats to testify in front of this committee. Democrats who came in who respect the First Amendment. GARM, the organization cited in the Gentlelady's Amendment, they discontinued operations after we exposed the censorship operation they were colluding in and doing. Commissioner Breton is mentioned in the amendment. He just stepped down last week after we uncovered the censorship operation he was promoting. So I'm proud of the work of this committee. And this attack on First Amendment free speech rights, I think, is frightening. I think it's scary. So I appreciate Chairman Issa and the work he's doing in this legislation.
Yeah, again, I'm going to talk about all things Elon Musk and government censorship of X, or trying to prevent us from being able to know the truth when you already have a bias in the news media towards the left that's 9 to 10 to 1. Is problematic, and I will fight for a world where you can still know the truth and I can still have a fucking voice, along with everybody else and people that disagree with me. That's the future I'm fucking fighting for, and that's the one Elon Musk is fighting for. And if you own stocks, and you own investments, or you just care about freedom, and you're voting for Kamala Harris, you're a fucking idiot, in my opinion. You're a delusional idiot who doesn't want to actually take the time to look at the other side and watch more than 20-second clips about what's really happening in America. Anyway, this is sad. This guy right here with Tesla, he said, this is 11 hours ago, probably yesterday in the morning. He said, well, it's time. I sold my entire Tesla position after 3.5 years of holding it and being stuck. He said, I turned green on it for the 50,000th time, and this time I'm not going into this cycle again. Time to move on to new opportunities. I hope I made the right decision. This hurts my soul. This guy, what he just did here is the stupidest fucking shit you can do. And he said, I hope I made the right decision. You didn't. You literally sold it at the worst fucking time. Well, the worst time would have been like 150, so you're not that fucking stupid, but you're pretty fucking stupid. And what saddens me about this is, I think, and I don't even know, maybe it's over here, I had my friend Rex posted something. I want to show it to you guys real quick, and maybe it's not. I'm just going to look up my buddy Rex Finance. He looks like a baby. I think he started shaving last week. But he's a sage. If there's reincarnation, Rex was reincarnated. I want you to hear what he says here just for a minute about investing, and then I'm going to touch back on the point that this guy selling out of his investment. But this speaks directly to it. So ignore the fact. I guess he does have some facial hair. That's good for him. Good job, Rex. But He's brilliant. He's brilliant, and you need to listen to this.
Now, where a lot of people lose me is they say, Rex, you grew up on a farm. What do you know about the stock market? What do you know about the economy? And to me, I think the opposite should be said. I grew up on a farm, and there are so many similarities between growing up on a farm and doing what we do and investing in the stock market. I'm walking through one of my family's cornfields right now. I'm in a weedy patch. The corn is all dead because it's harvest season. So it might not be the best time to do this, but I want to draw some comparisons, okay? When it comes to corn, okay? When it comes to corn, let's say each of these corn plants is a share of stock in your portfolio. As a farmer, when this corn plant isn't growing fast enough, do I scream at it and tell it to grow faster, grow faster? And if it doesn't grow faster, do I remove it? No. But a lot of people in their stock market portfolios, they get upset when their stocks don't move immediately and they don't see immediate returns. It takes patience to beat the game of Wall Street. Further, do I uproot this corn plant if it is yet to have a chance to even grow and produce something for me? Absolutely not. But a lot of people make that decision in their stock market portfolio, and that's why they fail. One of the stocks that we've been buying heavily recently is PayPal. We were buying PayPal at $50 per share in the $50 range.
And I will give, again, I love Rex. I think he's a great dude, man. And I shouldn't call him a kid. I do sometimes. It's just because I'm old as shit and he could be my kid. But no, he's brilliant. And again, he called early on CleanSpark when I didn't even know him. But I bought CleanSpark. I didn't even have a social media presence, guys. But he had one, and he was telling people to buy on YouTube to buy CleanSpark back when it was around $1 something, like when I was in it, and going heavy on calls.
And people were laughing.
And he's brilliant. He's sage-like. You should definitely look him up, and you should follow him. But that guy that we just looked at a second ago, that he did just that, right? He uprooted his crop right when it was getting ready to explode, and he won't yield any of the benefits that are going to be had on Tesla. And he's gonna hate himself for making that stupid decision. Again, if you call yourself an investor and you completely flip your perspective and say, oh, well, I'm not waiting anymore and I'm going to leave. This is bullshit. It hasn't done anything in 3 years. And you're looking at the fundamentals of this company and the fundamentals of the macro of the world right now, and the fact that rates just came down 50 bips. You got to be a fucking, again, incredibly impatient thinking from this guy. I pity him. I don't want to make fun of him. I don't want to shit talk him in his feed. I'm sad for him because he's going to miss out. He's going to chase. He's investing emotionally. Everything about this statement screams emotion. Everything in it. And it's sad because he missed a huge move to the upside yesterday. Also, Peter Brandt is a legend in the technical space. If you don't know him, you should probably follow him. He's not always right, but he is brilliant. And he was comparing, he's showing what a diamond continuation pattern looks like. And he references Costco as an example of that. And then he shows where Tesla is now. I 100% agree and approve with his statements. That's what's happening. Mario Nawfal from yesterday said, SpaceX forcefully rejects the FAA's claim. Don't fine us because you're slow as fuck. So he didn't say that, but that's the truth. And so Elon said a while ago, he said, you know what? If we're going to have lawfare against us all of the time, we're going to start using it against them. And that's happening everywhere across all of his companies. So they're just going to keep suing. They're going to keep suing the FAA. If they have to sue NASA for different reasons too, they'll do all of that. This is the future for these entities. If they want to be stupid, if they want to literally, in case you don't know what this one is about, the $633,000 fine, they complained about SpaceX moving too quickly on their iterations and that there needs to be more process to ensure safety. SpaceX is like, there is nothing that's unsafe around the area. There's nobody there. And in this particular argument, they don't like the fact that they're finding them because they shoot out a bunch of water onto the ground. This is a subtropic fucking location where water comes down to the ground all the time, endlessly. But they don't like it when SpaceX does it. So they're finding them so that they can make some money and slow them down. This is not what America was built off of. This is not the principles of America. We wouldn't even have a fucking space program if SpaceX didn't exist. We had to beg Russia to give us rides. Russia. And now we have 90% of the payload for space going up from SpaceX, an American company. That's 90% of the payload mass for the entire fucking Earth. We have 7,000 satellites streaming around the Earth, providing internet to the entire fucking world. And this man's going to get us a moon base. He's going to get us to fucking Mars. And what is our government doing under the Biden-Harris administration? They're slowing him down. Fuck that. Sorry, I'm in a mood today. And on that mood, let's just look at the first time. If you doubt the sincerity, if you doubt the love and passion that Elon Musk has for humanity in the future, watch this. This is the first time that they landed a rocket successfully, and it's beautiful.
Baby. Check it out.
I'm gonna turn down the volume a little bit because I'm afraid that I'll turn it on every once in a while, but I'm afraid that
0.2 kilometers per second downrange distance.
no, we might be all right.
We're going
Gotta
to
watch the
separate
music.
the stages and begin the second stage ignition.
Look at these guys. I'm gonna mute every once in a while just to keep the sensors from getting me. Oh, you're getting a Cybertruck Platinum? That's exciting, man.
Okay, where's the...
So he's looking for it. He's like, that's bad. That's bad.
Potentially bad.
That's bad. I'm gonna mute again real quick here. Yeah.
Look at this. Look at it. Look at it. It's just sitting there. Look at that.
Holy smokes. Anyway, so that's what America is about right there. And again, so Secret Service investigates Elon Musk over a joke he made on X. Secret Service probes Elon Musk over a post joking that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden haven't faced an assassination attempt. So the Secret Service doesn't necessarily do a good job protecting the former president, but they don't want memes and jokes because our words aren't free. Oh, wait, First Amendment. I guess they're supposed to be, but evidently, do you think the Secret Service actually thinks that Elon Musk is plotting something? Do you really think they think that? This is just bullshit. We have to defend this man with everything we have. Whole Mars, my buddy Omar, posts 12.5 is rolling out, so people are getting it now. I can't wait to get it. I've got a Y with Hardware 3 that my wife uses, and then at the same time, I've got my Cybertruck. I'm supposed to be getting it this month, which means it probably will be next month. But whatever. I don't care, man. I don't care about delays from a company that is changing the fucking world. Okay? The market is open. Let's check it real quick here. Let's go back over and look at our... Let's go... Oh, here, let me get this. Just pull this up. See where we're sitting now. We'll get out of... yeah, we're in perform... So, a little bit of red. Tesla down 0.8%. You can't be scared about that when we went up 7.5% yesterday. Just want to reiterate, this isn't crazy, guys. So we're seeing some red across markets. Technology, service, and electronic, at least some of the bigger dogs, the big caps, are holding up. This is a good sign. Oh, and it looks like, I'll try and get caught up in chat, but Brandon Shep did tip $5. Thank you, Brandon. Can't wait to join your Discord. I refuse to give YouTube some, yeah, and I get it, dude. Again, it's like, I get really pissed. I love their platform on YouTube. I love it. It's great. It's not replaceable yet. X just doesn't do as good of a job. X hasn't even given me subscriptions yet after 16 months. And I got a response back from Premium support. And they're like, yeah, we're working on it as quick as we can. I'm like, fucker, that does not That sucks because there's so many people that want to use the platform. They need to figure that shit out. I wish I could get a message to Linda Yaccarino and to Elon Musk. I don't know why they aren't doing more subscriptions. They should be doing that. It's additional revenue for them, and it allows people, content creators like myself, to start making the switch. And don't we want that? Don't we want that, X? But I get it though. YouTube and these censorship apparatuses suck. It's just they have the best platform right now. So we need to see companies like X especially do a better job of finishing, and they are, and I'm not shitting on them, they are getting better. They're already better. But they need to get subscriptions set up. They need to do a better job with this stuff because we need to get more people over to X making videos. We need to get subscriptions for videos on X and for feeds. We need to do all these things to be able to make it to where it's better and we're not dependent upon companies that censor information. We need to get away from companies that censor information. We need to force YouTube, if you're going to exist, you better stop doing the shit you're doing and you better develop a model like X. We need to make it to where companies are freer. Otherwise, they can't compete. They lose. That's what we need to do. We need to do a lot more of that. Real quickly, I'm just going to read through chat here and then we'll get caught up on a few other things. Nikki says, yes, that's just the instant gratification society we live in. Needs 55 says, brilliant Rex post. BD, invest like a farmer is a brilliant analogy. My family are farmers. It is, really. It really is. I say this all the time, and I didn't look at it the way Rex was looking at it because I didn't come from a farming background, even though I've lived on one for a short period of time, but it wasn't really my thing. But I always talk about how during the Bitcoin and crypto winter, how it's the time to plant seed. And then now we're getting ready for harvest. And there's things you have to do, like with corn, you remove tassels, you do maintenance, right? You might have to fertilize, you do things along the way. Maybe you trim a little bit over here, but you plant seed and then you slowly harvest when it's time. And I think the farming analogy is a brilliant one. And that guy is just fucking brilliant. And that's what we're going to do in this community. We're going to promote people that are brilliant. I don't care if they're better at something than I am. If they're better at something than I am, then I'm not going to do that thing as much. And we're going to use them and we're going to bring them in here too, because that's the way you get better. You get better together. You don't get better in isolation. And so that's the way we're going to live. And I love that farming analogy. Joe says, good morning from Pasadena. Hey, buddy. Disease Kodak 100%. I love that, BD. Nikki, the absolute insane part is no one zooms out. Look at Tesla on the weekly. I know. Again, I made a video about the 4 phases of consolidation for Tesla for a reason, because we're getting ready to break out. And this guy said like his handle was like stock option or something, stock trader. And the guy doesn't even zoom out. I mean, I don't want to shit on him. I just feel bad for him. Really feel bad for him. I'm not going to lie. I do. This absolutely, yeah. The Tesla, the weekly just looks so good on it. I'm just jumping up Bitcoin right now to see how we're doing. 62,847. Not surprised at all to see this going down a little bit. Again, you don't have days. If I'm making $250,000 in a day and we don't take a pause, I'd probably be more worried than anything. Honestly. Matinga says, the guy is only trading Tesla stock. He doesn't believe in the company. He's selling now. Yeah, again, it's just dumb. Kamawa, Jesse, have you seen the increase in CleanSpark call volume in the last 2 days? Does someone know something we don't? I mean, and I don't even think we looked at this. We need to look at it. Let's jump over to that real quick now. So my buddy too, Stock Trader Max. Again, guys, support people that benefit this community. I'm actually going to say something real quick here. I'm going to requote this again. Please add our friend to your follow list so our community can grow with some of the brilliant minds in different sectors. And then let's just put Stock Trader. Is it Max? Yeah. So let's do this. Let's pull in great people and let's force them into this community by supporting them, okay? Let's do this. But he said with CleanSpark, he said, Here's a NASDAQ article shared by the CleanSpark CEO yesterday. A huge amount of call options have been snapped up in CleanSpark, particularly the October $20 strike calls. October 18th, $20. Now, that is less than 30 days from now, and these people are saying that it's going to be $20. So if you like CleanSpark, you got to ask, if CleanSpark's at $9 now and somebody bought 25,000 contracts, that's a little bit more than I buy. That's a little bit more than I buy, okay? That's a lot of fucking contracts. If somebody's buying 25,000 for that strike, they do probably know something, or they're looking at the same stuff that we're looking at. And again, this is exciting. This is the kind of data points we want, guys. We want to get an edge above other people. And again, DR Lewis said it too. He just said, very unusual, noteworthy options action yesterday. Somebody is betting on a sizable move in the next month. DR Lewis, charge_stack is another one you should be following. He's big into the mining space. These are great people that we want to include. Maybe even get them on the show on the weekends on Sundays. And other great news, again, on the 17th, CleanSpark acquiring 2 additional sites in Mississippi and closes a second site in Wyoming. It's good stuff, guys. There's a lot of good stuff happening in the community. Let's look here. Let's keep going. Nikki, deregulation. I agree. Lots of deregulation needs to come. Frank, and let's go back here. We'll just put it in front of Bitcoin, see how. So CleanSpark down 0.61, pretty normal. Nothing crazy here. Nothing crazy. Frank says Boca Chica, Texas is such a cool place. I haven't been, dude. That's one of the things I want to do. Since I'm retired, quote unquote, I think I'm working now more than I have in a while, honestly. In the last several weeks, I'm trying to. Chris Federal, watch the full Rex video if you're impatient like we already are naturally. Only like 4 minutes total. Sorry, but I know like lifting up others, some YouTubers don't. Yeah, Rex is great. You should watch the whole video. Again, he's very insightful. Adam. Takumi69, best community, hands down. Smash the likes. Thank you, sir. Let's keep going down. So we got, let me make sure I'm not missing other people too. Xander Sky says, a longtime follower, first time watcher on X. Thanks for watching, man. Hopefully you're going to get a lot out of this. I think the morning streams are becoming even better than the afternoon. Afternoon's just confirmation that I'm right, and then updating with some news events, and then looking at stocks. Takumi69, best community. Oh, we had that one. Brandon Shop, super chat. Thank you for that. Raghu, words can't describe Elon Musk. Dude is just fighting for humanity every single day. Most human CEO in person ever. He really is. I think that's a great description of him. We're lucky to have him. And people that don't feel that way are very biased and very ill-informed. Needs 55. Hit the like, folks. BD, seems like the Secret Service should be spending their resources more appropriately, like protection, maybe. Isn't that crazy? They should maybe be doing that. You also said, Jesse, will you be able to tie Discord chat into the stream chat? I don't know. Maybe. God, that would be fucking cool. I'll try. I'm so new to Discord, guys. I haven't used it in ages. I used it for gaming, and I don't really game. Money and finance is my game now, and then YouTube. But I'll try and figure that out. That would be super cool if we could integrate that chat. I tried with Rumble, and so far I've been unsuccessful to get chat from Rumble over here, which sucks. But maybe that'll get better in the future too. John says Xander is here. It says you have 3,000 views in here. Is that true? It's probably less than that. That's probably impressions, but I can get 1,700, 2,000 views on X, actual views pretty easily. And per video, maybe 100 hours plus of watch time. That's very doable. And that's not bad, man. Just starting, considering X isn't the best place to view videos right now. I think that's pretty amazing. Disease Kodak, bro, it says you have 3,000 views on X. Is that true? Nah, but it'll probably be 2,000 in the end of the video. That's usually pretty normal. Nikki, I like that. My buddy always says, sow the seeds of the long term, and a farmer never plants if he waits for perfection. Exactly. I've never heard that statement. That's a really good one. Sow the seeds for the long term. A farmer never waits if he wants perfection, or never plants if he wants perfection. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that. You just got to get it out there. You got to work hard. You got to hope for the best. And I think that's a great way to look at it. Chris Federal, MicroStrategy buys more Bitcoin. Did they just buy more? Did they? I mean, that doesn't surprise me. They did over. So they had a $700 million offering, and then what did they do? they got oversubscribed over $1 billion. I think it was 1.1 billion. And then it looks like they probably bought some of that Bitcoin now, is what we're saying. Let's look. Somebody said MicroStrategy is essentially 2x levered BTC without the negative drift that comes with levered ETFs. But you can't ignore NAV. Yep, they did. Completes its 1.1 billion upsized offering convertible notes. Oh, so this is just, so they did complete it. Cool. I didn't read the full article earlier, so it's nice to know that they did complete it. That's cool. 7,400 more Bitcoin. So they're right near 250,000 in Bitcoin. That's a great number. That's a really great number. Everybody's talking about Apple today. It looks like the iPhone 16. Guys, should I get an iPhone? I've never had an iPhone in my life. Well, I had one for testing purposes for the last company I worked with, but it was a really shitty one that was super duper old. I just used it for testing so that we could make sure that we didn't have bugs on the iOS app. But should I get an iPhone? I hate my Fold 4. It's Google Fold 4. Don't buy one. It does not size right with almost every native application out there, and their fix for it sucks. I never even open the thing up. It's like holding two phones all the time. But I'm really looking at the iPhone 16 Pro Max that's coming out here like now. It says I could get it at the beginning of October, but I've never had an iPhone, and so I just don't know if it's the right move. But I'm kind of thinking about doing it. I don't know what you guys think. I'm curious. I like that my buddy always says, sow the seeds of the long term. And yep. Let me see here. Disease Kodak Max is great. Yep. Jeff L. Jeff Lutz, guys. He's in the chat. I'm kidding. Hello, everybody. Joe Barassus. Hey, Jesse, what is your cost basis on CleanSpark calls? I did show it earlier. I can show it again real quick. So I think they're really cheap right now. I'm still down 23% if this number's right. It might not be updated yet. But my cost basis was 166, and we're probably at 127 or 128 right now. So I think the CleanSpark calls are really a cheap price right now. I might even add more to them. And again, these are July 18th, 2025 at 37 strike. I think it's very easy for us to have a 250% move to the upside between now and the early spring. So I feel pretty confident about these. Could they go to zero? Things always can. I feel very confident about this trade. Very confident. Way more confident than I did about PayPal in 2025 or SoFi in 2025 or ArcG in 2025. The ones that didn't turn out as well for me. At least, well, some of them aren't done, but I still don't know. I'll probably lose money, a decent amount, if not all of it. But I feel really confident about CleanSpark. Kumar, can someone share the Discord link? It isn't built yet, but I will. The goal is to try and get it done Saturday if I can. And then, and it might just be a shell, guys, and I might just be making a video saying, hey, here's what I'm getting ready to do, just so that I can get it live. Because again, just like Elon Musk, maybe with a lot less efficiency and brilliance, I believe in iteration. So I force myself to do things by putting it on a calendar, and I force myself to do it by having a YouTube channel where I'm going to make a promise about doing something. And so I find that if I do these things, it makes it happen because I have no choice or I look like an asshole. So even if it's a shell on Saturday, I'm getting it built and it'll be available, and I'll make a video about it and I'll talk about it. And if nothing else, maybe that'll be an opportunity for us to talk about it. Like I'll say my ideas on how I want to build it out, and then maybe you guys have input too. And then I'll work really hard over the weekend to get it built out and get the initial content in there, and then we'll just start going. Because if like we just said about the farming comment, right? If you wait for perfection, you'll never get started. So we just have to get started, and so there will be a link on Saturday. I won't have it any other way. Chris Federal, growing pains are good problem for X. Agreed. We got thumbs up, 100 for Blue Automata. Disease Kodak Bro, it says you have 3,000. Yep, we talked to that. It's probably less. It'll probably be 2,000 though. Nikki, I like that my buddy always. Oh, okay, that was that chat. Let me get down further. So we're pretty well caught up. Let me just see if there's anything else here. Steve Toro says Saylor is getting a lot of hate for his recent comments on earning yield on BTC by lending to JP Morgan or other banks too big to fail. Whatever. There's always going to be people that hate what he's doing. You're going to have Bitcoin maxis that have a purist approach, and they could end up being right, but I don't think they're going to be right for at least a year as far as just like major concerns. And if Trump gets into the presidency and Elon does his thing, along with Robert F. Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard and Shanahan and J.D. Vance and Balaji and Vivek, and if all these things happen, I actually don't think the maxis are going to be right over the short term, and they'll be sad about that. They'll still be preaching about the doom of the world, but I think we could actually be a shining beacon for hope in the United States. Wouldn't that be crazy if people actually love this country, and they were excited because seeing that there's hope here gives them hope for theirs? Wouldn't that be amazing? Nikki, yeah, but only because you have the Mac will make your productivity 10x. Yeah, I love my Mac. I love my Mac. I love it. It's just so reliable and perfect. But I also wasn't encountering blue screens of death on my phone. But I just hate my Fold. Don't get the Google Fold, whatever the fuck it is. It just natively sucks ass. And it's heavy as shit. Needs 55 only ever had it's been good at the iPhone. Mop 74, get the iPhone. M and Hodl, the iPhone 100. So maybe I'll just do that. Chad Ventures, if you have time, would you be so kind to have a look at? Yeah, I think we've got time. We'll probably start looking at stocks here. Get iPhone only if you want to be a part of the blue bubble crowd with friends. I have both types. One phone looks at charts. One is phone executive trades. Prefer Android. Apple is always behind on features. Like I can't have two audio sources so I can stream music in background talking videos. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Interesting perspective. Thank you. What do you think about Robinhood, bro? I love it. I think it's going to do really good. I think it's going to $30 to $34 really quickly. Or Alibaba. I don't like Chinese stocks. They could do well over the short term based on global liquidity. China is suffering what I think is the start of a depression. Now, you won't see as much of it in major cities and the top 1% in China. The top 10% are really the CCP. That's the government has 10 to 15% of control of the population because they're all a part of the CCP. But the top 1% is really where the wealth is. And they're still doing okay, but the rest of them are suffering greatly. The bottom 70% are in so much fucking pain in China. That's my take. Alex Garcia, once you go to Apple, you'll never go back to Android. Manny247, Jesse, bro, you need help to manage your channel. I'm sure the community will help. I think that's true. And I still need to actually add more admins in here too. Been iPhone the last 5 years, and I love it. Robinhood a buy where it's at now? Yes. Koala says, Jesse, you're legendary. Thank you. Wish Elon would create a phone. Oh, God, dude, you and me too. That desperately needs to happen. Let's real quickly look at the heat map again. So Bitcoin kind of getting near 63. Great place to take a break before we do our third white soldier here before we bust out higher. I love that. I think that's a great thing. Solana. Again, everything's just kind of coming back a little bit. Let's look at the hot stock heat map. And then again, if you guys could reiterate, starting from here, throw out your stock requests. Starting from right here, I don't want to go back and chat. It just confuses things and it slows the process down. So it looks like Tony threw one out. We'll be pulling that up first. This is a little bit delayed, but again, a down day. I think that's perfectly normal. Let's see what the portfolio is doing today, and then we'll start looking at your guys' stocks. Portfolio hasn't updated. There's no way this is right. So it's not 9 yet. Usually by 9:30, the options kind of settle in here, and then we start getting accurate reads. I'm not up $250,000 today. There's no way. So, all right, let me see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about over here in the news-related stuff too. There might just be one or two other things. Let me see if there's any like PayPal or any others. So Bitcoin, I think we got through. PayPal, let me just check real quick. I think there is one bit of... yeah, there's just this post from Roy. He said, PayPal, though this headline goes way, way too far. I don't know if it goes way, way too far. We're going to disagree. What a difference a year makes. He goes, last year, too many, everything was a PayPal killer, from banks to FedNow to RTP to Visa. FedNow, I told people, I'm like, guys, you think the Fed is going to kill PayPal? I'm like, the Fed offers a free tax service. How many fucking of you use the government's free tax service? You know why you don't use that? Because the free market does it better. And people don't want to use trash. So And that's played out perfectly. Anyway, to RTP, to Visa, MasterCard, to Apple, to Square, to crypto, to X, to Robinhood, to Coinbase. Now we see headlines like this. Is PayPal everywhere an existential threat to banks and traditional debt? It is to debit. Yes, it is. This is a completely accurate headline. But he's right. He's right in his post, even though I disagree with him on the overall sentiment here for this. I do think he's right on the post that this is what's happening. And now that I think about it, I'm going to go through my portfolio of stocks, and then we'll jump into yours real quick, guys. I didn't really go into PayPal or any of this other stuff, I don't think. PayPal down 1% today. Still above peak volume, guys. Absolutely nothing to worry about here. Do not care at all. This is all great. Robinhood, up to no good. Retracing 0.26%, but really it lost a lot of steam yesterday. I think just from the announcement being like, oh, it's a sports thing. We thought it was cool new features. But on that note, we thought it was cool new features note. Let's go back here. So one thing to say about Robinhood, if we look over here, Vlad Tenev, 1016, are you following? So we are still pushing. This looks like tickers, even though they're candles, but they're obviously candles, which are, trading related things. So 1016 is going to be interesting. I will be live streaming. So I think that the hype about like, oh, maybe we're doing a lot to really give advanced tools for traders and professional investors is still true. They were just showing the sporting team stuff as well. But I do think that this is true. And it's the Memphis Grizzlies or something. That was the other announcement. So I think people cared a lot less about that. But I do think that this other one about the advanced trading tools will be very, very positive for them. Let's pull up SoFi. SoFi barely moved today. Well above the .618. I like it. It's going up. Square down 1.17%. Nice consolidation. Really big volumes underneath of us. The first VIX or the first fib underneath of us. And you can't even see peak volume because it just merges in with the fib. This is such a great base for Square. Palantir down 1.66%. Again, when you have Alex Karp selling a shit ton because he watched my videos, you're going to see that. ARKG down 1.46%. Still a beautiful looking candle, guys. If we close the week this way, it's all beautiful. You got to realize that we're on the weeklies here. Oh, I should actually pull up the weekly. That's the monthly candle. This is an indecision one, but it's after hitting the 50s. Still also beautiful. Let's look at Flux. Let's look at my smaller ones, and then we'll jump into your guys' stocks. Flux up 1.6. Huh, interesting. That kind of leads me to something else. We'll probably look at the indicators for the actual indices because I think we're going to see a pattern, and I'm interested to see if I'm right about that pattern. Let's look at DLO, though, my other shitty small cap. And this one's down 2.44. So, again, kind of grinding here. I do like the pattern, though, if I'm going to zoom in. It very much looks like it's a consolidation zone and like a steep bull flag before heading higher. The measured move, I think, would get us at least to 1027, if not above. So I think 10, 11 range, very easy for a measured move. And actually, if you kind of look here, if we just do candle body to candle body on this measured move, and then we say it's going to happen like right over here, it actually gets you to the .618 golden retracement zone, especially if we go just a little bit longer and add some of the wick in. So I'm going to say that over the short term, we're going to get that on DLO. And again, this is like over the next month or something. So very interesting, very exciting. Now on that note, real quickly, before we go to your guys' stocks, let's look at the S&P now. We hadn't done that yet. And we'll get our flow better over time. Down 0.27. So could this be just a good back test, a healthy back test after some crazy moves yesterday to establish support for the first time ever in the history of the S&P above this .618 level before we go higher? I think that's exactly what's happening. The NASDAQ, what are we sitting on? The NASDAQ down a little bit more, 0.35%. Again, this is now a bullish signal right here, and we're going to go ahead and save that. So that looks beautiful. We like where we're at. We got peak volumes. Look at this, guys. We're at the highest levels really we've ever been, and we're establishing a base on this peak volume. We want to see that continue. That looks good, but down a little more than the S&P. Not much, though. And the RUT is down 0.75%. So this isn't showing the strength I'd like to see yet. I kind of thought it was going to. I was wrong about that. But I do think, again, we'll end up going higher. And maybe by the end of the day, this looks different. So check back on the market recap. Unless you've already started your weekend early because it's Friday. And that is cool, too. If you guys miss, I know there's less people on the Fridays. I don't look at it as a bad thing. I look at it as people enjoying their lives. So that's always great. All right, let's get started with the stocks, guys. FIX, Tony Nguyen says, curious what you think about this company from a long-term hold. And again, if you said something before this one, guys, for a stock request, add it now. Because I don't want to miss it, and I'm not going back. Not high-octane play, but I'm thinking it can be a really good market beater over time. Okay, so a slow mover, not some asymmetric bet. All right, cool. I don't think I have that one, so I will make a copy. And it's called FIX. And we'll pull it up. So we'll do you guys stocks here, and then we'll call it after that. Yeah, up 0.02%. It does look like it's got a solid fucking base. I'll tell you that. And this definitely looks like what I call a steady eddy, which is just up and away. Does this thing pay a dividend? Oh yeah, so it's got a dividend too. Let's see, dividend 8.61%. So yeah, you're getting paid out good. So this stock, you're getting a 30-cent payout. When did that happen? That happened on August 12th. Not a huge amount, but are they doing them quarterly? May, March. Let me see here. How often do they do them? So it looks like you get 4 a year. You get 4 a year. So this is kind of a quarterly dividend. And the payouts are about 30 cents a piece. 50 cents over there. So you're getting $1.10 on 380. It's a decent little dividend. But again, the growth on this company is ridiculous. Let's actually look. It's just so ridiculous over time. Look at this, guys. Can this thing retrace if we get a downward market? Yes. But the overall trend since 2002 is up, right? This is definitely a steady eddy. It's an interesting. So Comfort Systems is this company. Let's look here real quick. So this is that's a category we should have too, steady eddies. We should have that in the Discord. We should have hedges, steady eddies, and asymmetric upside. 3 great categories. Let's look at estimates here. So, we are seeing a little trend down for estimates, but I don't know if they do this and then just outperform. I don't know the history of the company, but that could maybe table it off a little bit. We do have some sales. They've been selling more than buying, so they've been realizing the benefit of the upside price action here, guys. They're not hating the upside, and insiders have been selling along the way. Forward PE is 23. They've reduced their debt substantially, and they're adding to their cash position. They've been buying back stock. Their operating expenses are going up. No R&D for this company. What do they do? Engineering and construction. Ooh. Comfort Systems is a leading provider in business solutions focused on enhancing workplace comfort, operating across the United States with 139 locations in 114 cities. The company specializes in creating comfortable environments for businesses nationwide. So is this a commercial comfortable environment piece? Or do they work in residential as well? I need to know more about this. But a very interesting company nonetheless. I don't think it's a bad-looking company, so I'm just going to make a note here. Remind me of this one again later. I'll try and get this added. I might lose some of these. When I add the Discord, if I'm missing things that I talked about being opportunities, like a steady eddy like this one, you guys let me know. Remind me, okay? Because this is an interesting business. And depending upon what they're doing going forward, maybe the reduction in rates will be beneficial to these guys. If they can help repurpose commercial real estate, I don't know what they do. If they can help repurpose commercial real estate, then maybe they're going to do really good with rates coming down. So very fascinating one here, Tony. Thank you for bringing it up. Laura Panola, Iron. Yeah, we can look at Iron. Sorry, I didn't pull that up like I got to add that. I got to add a few more buttons to my Stream Deck. I might get a second Stream Deck. It lets you press buttons to make things happen. If you're a YouTuber, man, especially if you're pulling up a lot of charts like I do, you got to have a Stream Deck. It's just, I used to have to type in all this stuff manually, and I rarely have to do that anymore. So Iron is finding a nice, strong base of support on peak volumes here, at least on the fib retracement. I need to probably redraw I'm going to redraw actually starting now because I think it's safe to say that we found our bottom and that we're going to use the December 2022 as the permanent bottom for our longer term trend here. The real thing, it's almost, let me do this. We're probably going to do this. We're going to say that this was the peak and then this was the bottom. It's one of the biggest drops. And then you can see where we found a base here. And then we skyrocketed. Actually, do I want to do that? Should I do it further out? Oh, it's so hard when you don't have enough history to really get the long-term view here. This is going to work, though. This is going to work because you can see where it tried to get above the .786, and then it just couldn't keep it up. Dropped down hard, established a base on the .382, crept up, got up to the .618, the golden retracement zone, went back under, finally finding a base on the .5. So we'll use it for now until we can draw like a cleaner trend-based fib extension. But I like what we're seeing right here. This will work. So again, I think the next move is back to the .618 around the 940s, but we could just continue to find a base here on what is very, very high volumes on the .fib if we're looking at a trend-based extension from the lows of December 2022 to the highs of June 2023 to the lows of November 2023. So we can use this one for now. It's a good one. And you got to remember the stock is still up 640% for anybody who bought it from the bottom. So looking good. All right, let's keep going. So iron, Jeff L, TMF. Yeah, TMF. This is another. So I posted that post from Michael Howell. Bonds could very easily trend down to sideways. I'm going to look at TLT, the underlying asset, before I jump into TMF. So I don't know that I'd be in TMF. I've said that kind of for a while now. If I was doing anything, if I was selling and moving into something, I would be moving into TLT because it doesn't have that multiplier behind it like TMF does. Because I think what we're going to see here, guys, and I'll just do what I normally do, is something like this. Maybe over the next several months, just chop. Just chop, and I'll draw a line in the other direction too to represent the chop. Should probably do that. So we'll make a little X. So here's what I see happening. I see it for at least for the next 6 months to 9 months, just stuff like this, just going up, going down, nothing too special, not moving. And so I wouldn't love TMF right now because again, this is the 20-year bond for people who don't know. People have to feel really good about the ability for the government to pay back their debts. So the bond market, this 20-year will benefit a lot if Trump becomes the president. So maybe the 20-year starts to shoot up if he gets elected into office and the Democrats let him take control. But TMF, though, can suffer a little more pain because, again, it's a 3x levered fund. So it's got daily rebalancing. So this one I could actually see go lower to like 52 or maybe even down to the 40s while TLT grinds sideways to down. And again, maybe in the next 2 months that changes because of the election, or 6 weeks, I should say. Maybe that changes. Maybe Trump wins, and it looks like there's going to be a peaceful transfer of power, and that gets better. Ooh, real quickly, before we go on more of these, there's somebody talking who I love to hear. I don't always agree with her opinion, but I think she's brilliant. I love her so much. And so I want to hear what she has to say about markets. I might not agree with it, but let's just see here. We'll go ahead and turn on the volume here.
Our next guest says the broadening out of the rally has legs to run on here, but likely in fits and starts. Charles Schwab Chief Investment Strategist Liz Ann Saunders joins us now. Liz Ann, thank you very much for being here. I mean, obviously, there's much commentary out there about today's action in particular. Do you worry that the rally following the Fed's rate cut
and this is Liz Saunders. She's great. She's on X too. You can find her. She does a good job with a lot of data in regard to economic information. I don't always agree with her take on where the economy's heading, but I do think she's brilliant, and I like to hear what she has to say.
could be indicative of a bubble, as B of A has suggested, and then it kind of got ahead of its skis?
I'm not sure we're at bubble level. You could argue that maybe back in mid-July when you had the severe concentration problem up the mega cap spectrum. But I think with the broadening out, and even at that time, you had at least marginally more reasonable valuations down the cap spectrum. You know, the last couple of days was interesting. It was almost a buy on the Fed statement, sell through the presser, and then buy on the open the next day. And I think that kind of day-to-day volatility is likely to persist. And obviously, it's not just uncertainty with regard to Fed policy, even though we've now started the easing cycle, but a lot of other uncertainty as we head into third quarter earnings season, and then the big elephant in the room being the election.
So I would actually add to that. I think she's 100% right on. So we've got third quarter earnings season. That's going to be dramatic. What kind of impact is that going to have? Then we have the election. Then we have the potential for a government shutdown on 10/1. And then also, it sounds like the ports might go on strike. 50% of port traffic's stopping because of what's happening on the East Coast. This will be an interesting 6 weeks, guys. I think if you say with any kind of definitive response that you know what's going to happen in the next 6 weeks, you're being overly cocky. So again, anything can happen in 6 weeks.
The election and obviously the economic data in between there too. And when you see things like FedEx's earnings, for example, that's often seen as an economic bellwether, missing estimates.
Matt says, I'll be her pool boy. Are you talking about Liz?
It's cutting guidance. Does that suggest to you that there are potentially greater issues under the surface? And does that change the way that you're kind of collating your view on what's happening in the market and what's happening in the economy?
I think that there are leading indicators pointing to weakening growth here, particularly in the labor market. And that is why I think the Fed did this recalibration of starting with 50 basis points.
I agree, but I do just want to emphasize that the data, if nothing else, is being manipulated for like jobless claims and things like that. We're not seeing the data looking bad. Could get revisions later on, but it looks good.
And maybe shifting a little bit more of their focus to through the windshield as opposed to the rear view mirror, and having that focus on the labor market, in particular, the hiring rate. So we're not seeing a huge increase in the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate, for the most part, has been going up because of labor force participation. We're not seeing a huge increase in layoffs. We saw yesterday still pretty healthy trend in both initial unemployment claims and continuing claims, but it's that hiring rate. And I think what the Fed is now keying off of in their cutting cycle is the growth side of the equation, the labor market side of the equation, basically the complete opposite of the hiking part of the cycle when they were solely keying off the inflation side of their dual mandate. So I think that there are signs of cracks in the labor market, maybe veering into the consumption side of the economy. And I think to some degree the FedEx announcement picked up on that.
I had to, this journal piece.
Kind of disagree with some of this, but that's okay. We'll talk about it in a second.
Lizanne looking at the Fed in the wake of the decision, Fed aiming to repeat Greenspan's 1990 masterpiece by staying ahead of the curve. I wonder if you think that's the neighborhood they're in, is sort of repeating really good economic chapters like that one.
Well, I think they would probably love to repeat the mid-1990s. You know, soft landings are less prevalent than recessions. And what we know in terms of Fed policy is a cutting cycle accompanied by a soft landing is much more rewarded by the equity market than a cutting cycle accompanied by a recession and or financial crisis. What's also interesting with regard to market behavior around sort of full Fed cycles is, I sort of bristle when I hear comments like, well, typically the market does, and then they fill in the blank with some average percentage performance number for the S&P in the, call it 6 months after the Fed starts cutting rates. But there have been a really wide range of outcomes, and where there is consistency is the mirror image of what the market did during the pause period and then what the market did once the Fed started cutting. The best performance in history, once the Fed started cutting in the 6 months subsequent to the initial cut, was in 1974. But that was in part because of the carnage that preceded that. The market was incredibly weak during the pause period leading into that initial cut in 1974. It was the complete opposite in 2006. Once the Fed started cutting in 2006, the ugly stuff was still ahead of you, but there were record, at least in the pause period, gains for the market in that pause period. So, and for what it's worth, this pause period that we just completed, the period from the final hike more than a year ago to the first cut, that is the best performance in history for that pause period. I'm not saying we're going to automatically get the mirror image, but history may provide some guidance there.
Yeah, history may not repeat, but it does rhyme. We'll see what the poetry ultimately entails. Charles Schwab's.
I can totally see, again, guys, if you look at global liquidity cycles, if you look at what happens after the election season, If you look at what happens after rate cuts historically, and even reference this 2006, I agree that if anything, we're likely to see a melt up because of favorable conditions that brings the markets higher from here. And the 50 bip cut is going to help be an accelerant for that, because it'll get people to actually start to use the lending markets again. And it's already getting companies like SoFi to open up. So you're going to see an accelerant in the next year. You're not going to see a slowdown, in my opinion. All right, that was great. I love Liz. Again, I love hearing her and what she has to say. So we'll move back over to you guys' chat, start looking through stuff. Somebody did ask about ARkG calls. I think I responded to all of that. Let me know if you have more questions. So I do believe, again, global liquidity, guys, indicates that we will see a reduction in liquidity at the beginning of 2026 or the end of 2025, which lines up perfectly with what she was just talking about, which lines up perfectly with the election cycle, which lines up perfectly with the Bitcoin cycle. It's all lining up perfectly for the exit to be sometime next year, as far as trying to, find some safety and take some gains and lock them in and look for potential hedge opportunities. And that's what we're going to be doing here. And again, we'll adjust as the data adjusts, but we won't be flip-flopping back and forth every day from bullish to bearish. That's not how we work here. We figure out what opportunities arise and we focus on them. And then we update our thesis. All right, so let me keep going. Steven Turo said, I think 10.15 will be the desktop version with advanced tools. For Hood. Yeah, I agree. Probably something like that. Thomas, it might be their futures feature that they talked about on earnings call. It could be that too. Yes, for Hood. Matt, they cared less because it's Memphis. I live in Nashville, and no one gives a fuck about Memphis. All right, Rob Group. For SoFi, you must have stock right now, no options. I have very little stock in SoFi right now, but I do post about it because it doesn't have the asymmetric bet that I want right now, which is why I don't own a lot of it. But if you look here, I think I have some. It doesn't even register. It's so small. So I have a very small amount of SoFi right now. But again, I talk about it. I'm bullish on it. It just doesn't have the asymmetric bet, so I don't play with it. All right, let me see here. I'm going to pull up the map stock while I'm looking through more of these. Cam Prague, hey, Jesse, could you... But yeah, so I wouldn't own options. I don't think the options are that good of a deal, but I do think that the stock is a good deal right now. Cam Prague, hey, Jesse, could you look at Enphase, please? Yes, let's look it up. So not a lot of green today. Again, not a big deal. Eli Lilly up 2.1. Outside of that, everything's pretty flat. Nike's up, whatever. DoorDash, is this DoorDash? What is it? No, CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is up 4.4%. Interesting. Might need to take a look at that. Let's go ahead, though, and look at Enphase. And Enphase could do well with the rates. I do caution people, though. I worry that Tesla might be eating some of their lunch. I know their version 3 Powerwall actually doesn't need the inverters that were used previously for like Enphase to get people set up. It's got it all built in. So I look at it differently as far as like, will there be a big need for Enphase in the future, especially if Tesla really does well in the energy sector between residential and commercial and all this other stuff. So down 2.73%. This should benefit, though, from rates coming down theoretically, but I just don't feel confident about the actual business model. If people know more about the business model and can make an argument of why it would still do well and why that it's still going to go up in the future, I'd be open to hearing it. Sartaj says, can you look at Coin? Yes. Let me say this. Coin. If anybody knows of any other major news, too, that's breaking when I'm doing this, it's kind of hard to know about it. So if you guys throw it in chat, it's super helpful. And if you tip like a penny, I don't know, can you tip a penny? Then it'll make it to where I can see it quicker. All right, Coinbase up 0.27%. So again, we've been saying for a while for Coinbase that we think it can go a lot higher. I think this is a major move right here, which is why I marked it all the way from the bottom up to here, because I think it marks a major move for the next leg. And I think Coinbase, maybe Coinbase peaks at 563 or 809 as a total high for the cycle. It's probably one of these two, would be my guess. That's kind of the historical way that we work with things like this, but it's a quick 98% to upside. Probably maybe even 150% to upside if Bitcoin gets to 92K. I think that's very possible. It's not a bad looking chart. It's just not as good as the miners. It's not as good as MicroStrategy, in my opinion. Chad Ventures, just for the record, LVMH. Yes, let's pull it up. Let's actually look at it over here first, because I'm trying to get better at that with stocks. I'm sorry, what? What is it? LVMH. So it's not showing here. Let me look at it over here. 1 second here. Don't have it. Let's make a copy. All right, LVMH. Let's pull you up over here, see if I can get what your actual name is. LVMH. What is this? Is it this Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton? Is that what this is? You might have to help me out, bro. I'm not. I don't know what it is. There's a lot of different things. There's like there's a Mexican LVMH. Let me know. All right. I'll just leave this for now and save it. Yep, it's saved. Okay. So you let me know what LVMH is, and then I'll continue to look at it. Xander Sky, Phaser Pearl. I love buying long dated calls on red days. I sold stuff yesterday while green, so today I pick up. Yeah, I should probably do that too. I only took 10,000 in cash yesterday, but I should probably look to buy something. Kamawa Canoe F, please. Yes. Let me just pull that up over here. Oh, I don't have it there. Let me find the stock and see if I can get what the full name is. Kind of like LBMH. Oh, I got to better make a. I don't know if I have this one. Let me see though. Load layout, Canoe. Nope. Make a copy, Canoe F. And then we'll again the LVMH. I can look that up in a second if you give me full name or just clarifying details. So this is California Nanotechnologies. Is that what we're talking about? I mean, the fact that it's in California makes me not like it. That could be my own bias. It could be some Gavin Newsom's fault. But let's look at the finances. I mean, it's screamed higher, right? Is this thing going to go more? Let's look at the actual fundamentals to figure that out, because it's already done really, really well. It went from, in pandemic times, 1 penny to $1.01. That's 100x. So is there a basis for this? And what was it called again? Nanotech? California Nanotech. Okay. See if I got it. It's so small of a cap, I don't even know if I'll have it in here. Probably not. Okay, let me just go over here. Look at finances. Pull it up on the big screen. P ratio isn't crazy. Let's see, quarterly. P ratio is 10. All right, that's a pretty good number. I wish I knew. Can I see estimates in here? I do like that they're finding profitability. The company doesn't look bad. I wonder what their estimates are for this company. Debt level. I wish this might be one where I have to see if we can get this in. Let me see here. 2023 by source. Service is where they're making their money, and then equipment, service and equipment, and it looks like they're growing quickly. I like that. This is actually an interesting company. I'm going to see if I can get this one in. Let's see, Canoe F. I'm going to see if Alejandro can add this. All right. I'll see if Alejandro can add this so we can do a deeper dive into it without screwing around too much, because the TradingView stuff is okay, but it's just not the view that I like to see with Alejandro. It's so much easier to go through it there. But this is interesting. And let me see, did we get any clarification on the other one? No, I don't. LVMH is apparel franchise, Louis Vuitton. So that's what it is. So it is that. So I don't think it's LVMH, at least not in the States. So let me just do this. LVMH. So it looks like the OTC in the States is LVMHF. So that's what we have to look at it for being able to look at the U.S. market. Looks looks like it's had a tough few years, man. It's at numbers that we saw in 2021. 666. That's got to be a good sign, right? All right. So let me look over here and see if we have it. Now we should probably have it. LVMHF. Or let me see, Louis. Let me try Louis. Louis. How are we spelling Louis? Louis Vuitton, not that. Moet Hennessy. God, it could be under so many different names. I'll have to see if this one's in here too. I'll try and see if I can find this one and the Canoe one. I don't have them in here, and I don't want to dick around with them too much. All right, keep going. OKLO says BD if you have time. Okay, let's look at that one. See if we can find it. Hopefully, you guys get a lot of these small caps. I'm just not finding it in here, so it sucks. We'll have to get some of these added. Also, if you know the name, that could be helpful too. Oh, here, let me make a copy. Wow, so this one's gotten beat up a little bit, and it is Oklo Incorporated. It is less than $1 billion market cap, and it was kind of dead up until this year. So it's really started to see some price changes this year. That's where all the volume comes in. That might be why I don't see it on visual stocks. Let's see, Oklo Inc. Or you know what? I'm just going to double check. Sometimes I time out on here. So I just want to see if that's a problem. That could actually be... Nope, it's still not finding it. So I'm going to pass on some of these guys. I'll see if I can get them added. Michael Saylor often talks about MicroStrategy's Bitcoin yield. What is he talking about? He's... I don't know specifically without looking at the exact comment that you're talking about, but I mean... If he is borrowing out and gaining yield, he could be talking about that. Bitcoin, though, inherently goes up in return. So he could be talking about that as well because, again, it's got a fixed monetary base where it reduces new supply, or I should say the new supply that comes out gets cut in half each 4 years. So with that, when you have that kind of monetary policy where it's tightening, and it's not deflationary, but it's one where it's disinflating, which is good. Then you have currencies around the world inflating it at record levels and at ever increasing levels, and will continue to increase. Then you have a return that you're going to get on Bitcoin that's basically guaranteed. He could be talking about any number one of those things. Let's see, Thomas from X. Does Kamala win affect the trajectory of Bitcoin? No, not. I mean, really, it's going up no matter what. But could she slow it down temporarily a little bit? Yes. Could the market be reactionary and be depressed about her winning? Yes. But either way, money printer goes burr. Have no choice. We got to pay our debts, and we're not getting better at budgeting. That's for sure. Not at all. One sec. I do need to do one thing. I'm gonna refresh. I don't have CNBC running. I'm gonna re-refresh and make sure it's muted, just so I'm keeping up on in case we get any cool speakers that we want to look at. Peloton, please. Yeah, we can look at that one. That one I know I have. Let me just look at the finances on it first. There we go. Peloton. All right. So Peloton actually getting closer to profitable and cash flow positive last quarter. This was a shit stock for a long time. You're going to see a lot of red when we look at this thing. Let's look at estimates, though. The estimates still have them not really making money, at least as far as EPS, and then sideways chop for their revenue, which isn't great. So I would say this is a no. We can pull up the stock real quick and see what it looks like from a technical level, but I still personally would call this a no because we can't have. I mean, you just have to have companies that are making money, guys. They have to have growth and they have to be making money. If they're not making money, then they're just diluting shareholders to stay alive, and you guys are funding their operations and their lack of profitability. And this thing was decimated. 98% loss. 98%. all that hype around the pandemic of this being like everybody's going to bike all the time and never leave their house. It's sad. Now we're getting a base established here. It's probably going to be a strong one, but I wouldn't jump into something like this yet, personally. Matt, both, I guess. Oh, that was about the girls. Let me see here. Make sure. Jesse, you going to buy 2027? Oh, that was that one. Okay, let me get down here further. Yeah, okay, cool. Looks like we got Joseph Mock. You're heavy in those two, so I always try to buy both and get them mixed up. Oh, okay, cool. That was about the Archie and stuff. Finance Falcon on X says, thoughts on uranium? Is that what we're looking at? I mean, uranium is probably going to do good because China is trying to get to 1,000 nuclear weapons so that they can threaten the world. So if that's what we're talking about, I think too, just again, uranium has a lot of positives in it. Oh, weird. Must be a new disclaimer they have. So uranium has definitely done well. It looks like it's probably established a base. We can draw out a trend-based fib extension. I do think there will continue to be demand. I think smaller nuclear reactors are going to be a thing. They have a higher cost base than a lot of other forms of energy, which isn't great. But it does look like we're finding a base here. We rejected at the .382 twice, and then we're bouncing off the .236. I think we'll test up again against the 3140, and maybe we can get higher this time around to the 3740 range. That's just kind of my thought process, a lot of it, because, again, I just know that there's a lot of demand. BC, thank you for joining. Thank you. Appreciate you. So I think Euro can go up, but I don't think it's going to be the best asymmetric bet. I think a lot of the gains were already made from January 2020 when it was $7 up to the fact when it hit 31. I think that was the big move. Joseph Mock, gotcha. Thank you, sir. Let me see here. Joseph Mock, sometimes I can't catch every video, but it's tough to catch your top points per video. Yeah, my hope is that I can have an editor in the future go through my videos and kind of make separate independent ones where you can look and see like, oh, hey, there's a short. Jesse's talking about that thing I'm really interested in. This looks exciting. I should and take basically some of the top content where I have a really good thesis or response to something and publish shorter videos that people can watch too. And I've got to use this Decrypt program. There's so much on my list. The main thing is the Discord. Then I want to get back to Decrypt. I want to add Facebook Live for streaming. And Decrypt will allow me to do chapters and then other cool stuff on my videos as well. So I think that will be really helpful. There's a lot to do. I'm going to try and improve. It just takes time. I just got to keep moving forward. Nuclear power plant restart. Actually, that's really interesting based on the conversation that we just had. So I'm going to do a quick segue here. Real quick, 1 second. Let me go back. Who is this? Is this Germany? All right, guys, 1 second here. We're going to listen to this. 3 Mile Island restart. Constellation Energy. Power will be sold to Microsoft under 20-year agreement. Constellation will spend $1.6 billion to reopen Unit 1, aiming to be operational by 2028. We are firing up nuclear power plants at 3 Mile Island. Wow. Wow. Cool. Why am I not getting sound? 1 sec, guys. I'm going to have to restart this. What the fuck? Why is this not... Why am I not hearing sound in this stream? Oh, I muted the site. Okay, my bad. Shouldn't do that again. Here we go.
We'll see whether Microsoft's political muscle makes a difference. Pippa, amazing story. Pippa Stevens today. Meantime, stocks are hovering just off of record highs. Our next guest...
And I missed it. 1 second here. We're going to have to go back.
We are talking about three...
Okay, we're going to listen to that again because that ties into your Euro request really quickly.
Constellation Energy is a top gainer on the S&P this morning. As you take a look at the laggards, those shares officially have doubled on the year. Pippa Stevens joins us now. Of course, there is a lot going on in terms of the provisioning of power, particularly for data centers.
That's right, David. And this morning, Constellation Energy said that it will reopen the 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant, selling all of the power to Microsoft as a part of a 20-year agreement to power the tech giant's data centers. And yes, you did hear that right. We are talking about 3 Mile Island, the site of the worst nuclear accident in U.S. history in 1979, which sparked a backlash against nuclear power.
Real quick, I want to go back to uranium here and just see what we might be doing. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here, up 4.4%. So that's probably the big deal for that one, guys.
But this site has 2 reactors, one that was shut down after the accident and one that was active until 2019, and that is the one that they're reopening. It comes as the nuclear industry is getting another look because of power demand from AI, which is surging. Now, Constellation said it will spend $1.6 billion to revive Unit 1 and is aiming to have the unit back online by 2028, although it is subject to approval by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. The company owns roughly 20% of the U.S.'s nuclear capacity, and shares are up 102% this year as electrification, reshoring, and data centers all increase power demand. Now, uranium stocks are also on the move today. The URA and URNM are both up more than 2% each.
All right, we'll stop it there. That's fascinating. So, yeah, it looks like, to 2028, that's 4 years from now, 3.5 years from now. But that is fascinating, and I think if we continue to see that kind of approach around the United States and the rest of the world, remember Germany was turning off their stuff, it gives me some hope that we're actually seeing nuclear reactors be turned on in the United States. I know Microsoft, Bill Gates especially, is very much involved in smaller nuclear reactors, and I think that that is a good idea. I don't know that I'm fond of that person, but I do think that's brilliant. Somebody said, BD said Oklo is the small fast fission nuclear reactors and spent fuel recycling. Ah, cool. So they might be a benefactor too. Very cool. That's exciting. Yeah, very cool. So, and then Konstantinos said, in your opinion, what is the narrative that will drive the price of miners in the next quarters? Bitcoin going up to 92,000. Easy answer. So that will happen, and that will drive the price up. So just, All right, I'm going to keep that rolling. I'm going to mute it, but I'm going to keep that rolling on my screen because, again, I like being able to jump in and talk about things that are coming up that are really interesting. Let me see here. I'm going to go back a little bit up in some of the chat. Mainstage News says BTC and Sol pulling back will probably run over the weekend to come back to test the lows we set today. Yeah, I think again, a little bit of a grind is good right now. I think we'll actually be looking to break out over the weekend would be my guess. Don't have to though. Again, lots of stuff happening over the next 6 weeks. It's going to be a very wild time. So we could get some volatility. I'll probably be a buyer today of my favorite things though if we do get a decent pullback. Alfredo, crazy question, but do you think Elon Musk has someone in the background that would continue to move the company forward in the event? If anything happens to Elon, man, he's already painted out his vision for the next 10 to 20 years. It's very Steve Jobs with Apple. Look at how I actually was a person who was a naysayer who's like, Apple's done. But Steve Jobs had created such a good vision that it could still grind higher and higher and higher and do really well as a company based on his vision alone. And you've got to think about this. Elon Musk is pulling in the best talent in the world for every one of his companies. If you are a specialist in anything neural network or neurology, dealing with chips and computers and trying to, enhance the ability for people that have, that are paralyzed or lack vision or all these other things. If you're in that sector, you're going to be working at Neuralink. If you're in space, you're going to be working at SpaceX. If you're in energy or EVs or robotics, you're going to be at Tesla. So the best of the best people are at these places, and there's a roadmap and a vision. So would it hurt the stock price temporarily for a short period of time? Yes, if he was gone. It'll hurt humanity if he dies or something happens to him. But the company does have the vision, and it will move forward. So anything like that, God forbid it happens, will be a buying opportunity in my opinion. I'm gonna let Bitcoin's price just kind of run along here while I'm looking through the rest of the chat. And again, 63.4 is not a bad number. It looks like we're getting a little bouncy actually. Let's see what the rest of the market looks like. Let's go to stock heat map. Yeah, even Tesla looks like it's getting a little bounce. It was down by 2 something. I don't know. Maybe we'll have green by the end of the day. It wouldn't surprise me. I do think think I'll probably stop here, guys. I'm sorry I didn't get a lot of the stocks. Oklo's backed by Sam Altman. Ugh, I don't know if I like Oklo then if it's backed by Sam Altman. I am not a fan of him at all. I think he's probably evil. I don't like the guy. BC became a member level starter pack. Thank you, BC. Appreciate all you guys that have joined. The love and support. I don't know. What did I get? 60 plus new members today? You guys are insane. Konstantinos. We did that one. Eric Wolf from X. Let's get some X comments. The Palisades nuclear power plant in Michigan is restarting as well. Wow. Cool, man. Susan Yu, are you buying any Palantir today? I'm not. My view on Palantir is I love the company. I love Alex Karp. I think they're a growing company. I think they're going to be a good hedge against war, Susan. But I personally think that Palantir stock trends sideways to down for a while. And I think Alex Karp selling the stock yesterday, $368 million worth, after hanging out in the chat, or at least somebody named Alex Karp hanging out in chat, and me shitting on it and basically saying that the stock's going to underperform for a while. I think that is, I know it wasn't Alex Karp, I'm just kidding. I think that was a sign, though, that we could kind of trend sideways to down for a while. And I'm looking to reevaluate Palantir probably in the next 6 months. But I think that we won't be much different than we are right now. I could be wrong. We can get to 46. I've said that, like this new high up here, 45, 46 range. But I think that at least over the next 6 months, we probably do a back test to this previous resistance line that needs to turn into support. You back test normally in technical trends, and we haven't done that. If you look over here, you can see how this chart shows resistance levels here. It showed resistance over here. And then if we zoom in, you can see a nice little fight here to turn this into support, break down, turned it into resistance again, broke back up, went up. But we've never tested it and found it as like a clean level of support. We had a big drop. So normally, and it doesn't have to happen, but normally for a stock to really do well with continuation, and this is an $81 billion company. When I was originally recommending this company, I think it was like 11 billion, 12 billion, when I was posting about it a year and a half ago and saying I was going balls deep and it was my largest position. It was a fraction of what it is now. So I do think we have sideways chop. I'm not interested in buying heavily anytime soon, but ask me in 6 months if I've made $3 or $4 more million, and I'm sitting at like $6 or $7 million in my portfolio. I probably will be dialing in to Palantir, especially if it hasn't done anything for 6 months. That's my view right now. Susan, hopefully that answers your question. RJ Cohen, Palantir filling the gap at 3104 would be awesome. Just my 2 cents. Yeah, I haven't even looked. Oh, yeah, there's a gap fill there too, isn't there? Very good point. It needs to do that. That will be a thing that happens. And I would actually argue this. Again, I would argue this. Here's what I'll argue. I think 2 gaps get filled. Let me draw this real quickly here. A, this one right here. B, this one right here. I think both these gaps will be filled before we really start to take off. Just from a technical level, it makes sense for this to happen. It doesn't have to happen. Nothing ever has to happen. These are just probabilities based on data points. Fundamentals could drastically change this in the months ahead. I'm not 100% right about anything. Anybody who's followed me realizes that. But I think you're right. I think there's some gap fills. I don't think, though, I mean, it could happen, but I don't think we go back and fill these other gaps. But you do have to remember, guys, we have a lot of gaps now, right? We have a lot of gaps. And what do we know about gaps? We know that 90% of gaps fill. So we got 4 here. That's a lot. So a couple of them should fill. That's all I'm saying. And again, I think it was smart. I think Alex Karp selling $1/3 billion and putting that in his pocket was a really smart idea. Alejandro R. Dell, what will happen when Michael Dell starts buying Bitcoin? I think he already is. I think he's just doing it silently. If you're talking about Bitcoin, you own Bitcoin. If you're putting like Bitcoin as a word and posting about it, you own it. JD, doesn't CleanSpark use excess energy from nuclear? They use, actually, CleanSpark is one of the cleanest miners. They use hydro plants, nuclear, renewable energy. Virtually all of it is renewable or clean energy. Jotong, A-H-E-R. I'll probably skip that for next time, guys. Thanks, you saved me from picking up more Palantir. I don't know if I saved you. If it goes up, then you're probably going to be cussing my name, but I just don't think it's I don't think there's a lot of upside opportunity, and there's so many asymmetric bets. All the Bitcoin stuff, Tesla, ArcG, PayPal, Hood. There's so many opportunities to make a bunch of money in an asymmetric bet. And we, on this channel, we like asymmetric bets. We like asymmetric opportunity where you can apply less capital and make a lot more. Konstantinos, I would love if you could make a video explaining the reasoning on how you pick stocks from macro to fundamentals to technicals. Yeah, I kind of talk about that every once in a while. Watch my regular videos, but I'll see if I can put something together. Or again, at the very least, if my wife or maybe another editor can go through my videos and more cleanly edit them out and make separate independent videos, maybe at least I can get a couple of those and come up with a really good theme for a new video. But it'll be great. When the editing gets better, it's really going to allow me to do a lot more, and it'll be fun. Finance Falcon, what's next for PayPal, and what's the rationale behind today's pullback? The rationale behind today's pullback is it went up 6% yesterday. It's doing really great. Everything's pulling back. We had an awesome day yesterday, guys. PayPal, sure, it's down back 0.82%, but I've been telling you for a while that I would be excited on the day where we got above this peak volume and started to break out higher. And look at what we've done, guys. Since July 1st, we went from $58 to $78. And for PayPal, this is such a huge thing. So that's why we had a pullback. We had a pullback because we just established our fourth higher high right now, guys. I'll move this little thing over here. I'll put it over here. Put this over here. Move this little guy right down here. And again, this is fucking beautiful. This is beautiful. We just had our fourth higher high in the history of this stock that clearly delineates an upward trend. So the path is up. The next point is $83. And I think before the end of the year, we'll probably have hit 98, 97. That's my take on PayPal. I'm very excited about it. I do think, guys, we've been rolling for a while here. I'm probably going to call it. I just realized it's almost 10. So I think I'm going to call it for now. I don't see a lot of other stuff coming out. So join me in the market recap at 3 p.m. if you want to do more. I might have another video too. If nothing else over the weekend with that Michael Howell interview, because he's brilliant and he is the god of global liquidity, and we need to listen to his take. I don't always agree with his takes, especially on China. I think he's overly optimistic on China, but that's okay. He's brilliant, and we should listen to him and then try and figure out what we believe the truth to be. So again, love you guys. Sorry if I didn't get to all the stocks, especially some of the smaller ones that I couldn't easily pull up. I'll send a request to Alejandro and see if we can get them. But I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate the massive record-breaking love and support that I just got today on my channel from all the membership joins, the tips from Susan. All you guys are just fucking awesome. And I appreciate you guys a whole lot. And I hope to repay your kindness in the Discord and with my work and analysis going forward. But again, appreciate you guys. I guess today, just based on the fact that, we're dropping, it's not an all-time high. But I do think we're going up. So I'm going to play this video. If you got kids around, turn off the volume. Love you guys. Peace out and have a great morning, okay? Get out, touch grass and enjoy it too if you can. Bye, guys.
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.
Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Oh. Buy that fucking dip. Dump it on the top and spit. Buy that shit. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. When it drops, better cop. Let it fucking rip. People love the pump. Yeah. Got them lining up. Wow. See us winning, FOMO in and YOLO by the top. Dream of Lamborghini. Girlfriend in bikini. front cover Forbes magazine is where you'll see me. Oh, what? How? Price went down. Who will save us now? Felt like a hero. Now the fear is here and it's clear as steering to zero. Hands weak, bags heavy, and I'm ready to forget about already all the hopes and the dreams. So puke your position like mom spaghetti. I'm hungry and got long cash on the ready to just buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Oh. Buy that fucking dip. Dump it on the top and spit. Buy that shit. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. When it drops, better cop. Let it fucking rip. When there's people crying, that's when I'll be buying. Yeah. When they tell you their investment conviction is dying. Oh no. But the market's dead. Yeah. That's what TV man said. It's time to sell it, walk away and sit in cash instead. Pump, what? Price go up. Guess that's just your luck. Sold at the bottom a lot of you gotta learn how to hold on to whatever money you're gonna earn and not get shaken out when they run the stops. Although it tends to pretend to the dips and the bends, you know the trend is your friend all the way to the end. So I buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Oh. Buy that fucking dip. Dump it on the top and spit. Buy that shit. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. When it drops, better cop. Let it fucking rip. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Oh. Buy that fucking dip. Dump it on the top and spit. Buy that shit. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. When it drops, better cop. Let it fucking rip.